Hello, welcome. LPL Brawl Stars APAC Tour is back for Stage 2. My name is Blue Panda. Joining me on the mic for Stage 2, Teddy. We're back again with another great opportunity for our APAC Brawl Stars teams to show just what they've got.
Season 1 was absolutely fantastic. I'm so thrilled to be back for Season 2, man. I can't wait to get into those matches.
I mean, LPL and Supercell teaming up to bring us 3 tournaments for APAC, a region that has desperately needed these opportunities. And, well, this is the second of 3 this year. We've played it out. We've got to this point. 4 regions. We've taken the top 2 from each of them and brought them to this final stage tonight and tomorrow. We're playing through a double elim bracket, a combination of best of 3s and best of 5s. And Teddy, the top 3, will be walking away with some prizing. It's a long day. We've got some new teams, some fresh maps, and some fresh action ready to go.
Yeah, I love the little switches between Season 1 and Season 2. I think it's going to be super refreshing. And I think it shows as well how LPL wants to, put the best conditions for both the players and the viewers. You got to appreciate that.
Well, I mean, the viewers, the players, they deserve the best, and LPL is committed to bringing them the best. And it's not just bragging rights these teams are playing for. There is money on the line. Top 3 make it into the money, $6,000 each stage, making up $19,000 plus the open as well. But Teddy, I mean, there are some big events coming up, and some of these teams are going to be attending them. It'd be good to have some pocket change, of course, to spend there. In first place, walking away with $3,000. That's a lot of souvenirs. That's a lot of Brawl Stars merch you could be walking away with.
Absolutely, plus the experience as well, to be able to perform here a few weeks before LCQ, a few months before World Finals. Every single team here competing. Either it's great experience because they're an up-and-coming team, but it's great experience because they'll need it for the big tournaments upcoming.
Well, speaking of experience, let's get into the bracket and introduce our teams for Stage 2. And I mean, look, Teddy, it's so good. It's so nice. We've got some big teams coming out of APAC. Na'Vi, Max Aura, Coco Loco, Ranked Noobs, Delay Esports, Crazy Raccoon back, Monkeys on Delay, and then 3R Gaming, our Stage 1 champions coming back to it. I mean, this is gearing up to be one hot Brawl Stars bracket.
We got some of the top teams in the APAC region. Just worth a mention, maybe Crazy Raccoon didn't quite qualify. They actually went 3rd, but they're lucky that a team from Southeast Asia didn't show up. So they actually did manage to get through anyways. But a little bit of luck on that side for our, Season 1 champions.
Look, it's always good to reply to emails when we send them, but unfortunately, well, fortunately for Crazy Raccoon, unfortunately for the other team, they didn't make it through. Let's get into our games though, Teddy. Let's not waste any time. We've got Brawl Stars to be playing. Up first, of course, Na'Vi. That was not on my bingo card for this year, Teddy. I did not expect to be casting Na'Vi, but I couldn't be happier to be doing it coming out of Japan. And then Max Aura, one of our Australian representatives coming into it. And this Na'Vi roster has gone from strength to strength. They've looked very, very hot. The Chappie, Levi and Suzuku are possibly one of the hottest rosters coming out of APAC at the moment.
I mean, they are over the moon right now because this month they actually qualified for the last chance qualifier by literally 1 point over Coco Loco, another of the contestants playing throughout the next 2 days. So a little bit lucky on that front, but this is their chance, I think, as well to prove themselves, to show that, it's not just a point. We're here to win the whole competition and show the world what we got.
Well, speaking of something to prove, their opponents, Max Aura, coming out of Australia. It's an embattled part of APAC, Australia, Oceania as a whole, but Max Aura are going to be giving it their absolute darndest. Blackjack, K-Brawl and Sorry coming into it. They've got probably one of the toughest matchups you could ask for in starting this tournament, Teddy, but look, it's an experience to learn and grow.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge for sure on the Australian side here. There are players that have some experience in competitive, but mostly kind of retired or a bit more casual nowadays. I know that Lark, which is probably the most famous of those players, is playing as well. I don't know which one he is between Blackjack and Sari, because I don't think they're their like usual usernames.
Lark might be on the other Australian team, if I remember correctly, because there are 2 Australian teams coming into this, so potentially, I don't know, we'll have to double check. But right now, look, Teddy, Na'Vi, Max, Aura, let's get into the vetoes and see which maps we're going to be playing out. And look, Teddy, for those viewers at home, might be getting a bit of PTSD saying, hold on, what's the go? What's changing? Yeah, it's a best of 3. These maps are not static. So we have a rotating map pool. There will be new, fresh opportunities to play different maps in our game modes as well. But this is where we start in Shooting Star, Ring of Fire, and Rustic Arcade to round it out.
Yeah, but this is one of the big changes for this second season, where we actually have the maps changing around between match and match, and this is going to provide so much more variety, I think, in the brawler pool as well, to also give the opportunity to each of the teams to show what they've got on a variety of different maps. So I think this is super exciting for this series.
And I mean, in terms of what we've been seeing recently in the brawl pool, so to speak, in terms of what's being picked. In the last monthly final, look, Teddy, I know you struggle with it. We did see the APAC Grey make its resurgence. It was a very, very one-off pick. I think it saw it once throughout that final. But, I mean, we are starting to see APAC adapting in some different picks, playing some different styles. And again, do you think that speaks to just that ecosphere that is APAC and its growing meta?
Yeah, every sub-region usually starts having like kind of their own version of the meta. I think that I was very vocal about me not liking the amount of grey we had in the first season of LPL.
Just let it go. it is what it is, and it is a part of APAC. We love
it has
grey.
disappeared a bit. It has disappeared a bit though. In the latest monthly finals, it was picked much less than it used to. So to that extent, I'm kind of hoping that the trend continues and we see less grey. And again, I don't hate grey. I really like him as a brawler. I just want him to be used like more situationally rather than everywhere all the time.
Well, I mean, look, if there's room for a grey, why not bring a grey? We've seen it do some pretty impressive things, but yeah, no, look, seeing things slightly, make those adaptations coming through, some changes. I mean, especially given that we are getting Na'Vi coming into this, and we do have our coin toss, first pick going the way of Na'Vi. I mean, look, this, I think more than likely will be just a bit of a warm-up, if we're being honest, for Na'Vi. Max Aura have the potential to maybe play upset, but a tick, Byron, I mean, I'm not seeing anything crazy. That Piper as well coming through, and, well, look, okay, maybe there's some concern, but a Gene coming through first could make things very interesting.
Well, it's brought in here by Na'Vi. The chip damage from afar on the open map as well is just very, very deadly because you don't have a lot of opportunities to reset your heals and get back to a healthy situation. So I like it overall. The GM pool obviously super clutch as well. Vengeful Spirits can also combine really nice with sharpshooters to just get that extra little bit of damage output. And in a burst, that can be enough to get a lot of kills.
Obviously, you can some concern that Angelo might be a bit of a problem character, and I mean, 2 very, very high damage long-range threats being banned out in the Piper and the Angelo as well, but clearly Aura coming in with a bit of game plan. I mean, if it was up to you, where would you follow with the Gene, do you reckon, for a team like Na'Vi?
Well, I think potentially locking in something that gives you blue star or the movement speed of something like a Max could be very handy as well. You don't necessarily want to leave your opponents combine that with the Gene. You can still go for sharpshooters too, but the problem is a lot of them are banned. So like maybe a Mandy. Mandy is going to be brought in, and they're going to double down on the sharpshooter idea. So the RT as well as a follow-up pick here for Max Aura. Overall, not bad answers. I don't know if it's the move to try to like out-mechanic your opponents when you're facing Na'Vi. That seems like a bit of a bold idea. But hey, Max Aura, they're coming in with the confidence, and they're here to show off their aura.
I mean, try to outrange the 8-bit. The response here for a Chappie, potentially could be a bit of a problem. He's a bit of a unit, the old 8-bit, but looking to round out these comps. The ranged threat, I think, is the priority for Max. Or do you look for something that is a little bit better in the gap closer, maybe a buster for something like Na'Vi to soak up some of that long-range threat?
Give me an idea. I think that they would probably have loved to get the Nani or the Tick paired up with the 8-bit. It's just something we see very often. They're gonna go for the Carl, so they want to lock in that blue star and play defensively from there on. And I really don't mind it at all, especially with the 8-bit. It's not gonna be the easiest to really put pressure in your opponents. However, holding down a lane is gonna be much more straightforward. So if you can get that blue star with your Carl gadget, it's a pretty straightforward strategy from here. Just play defensively and just, you know, shut down any aggressive ideas that Max Aura are going to bring in. And they need something to take care of that damage booster, and that's exactly what the Larry Laurie is going to be brought in for. They could take any thrower really for that job, but I think in Bounty and on an open map, Larry Laurie probably takes the cake.
Yeah, I mean, look, it definitely seems like Max Aura coming in with a strategy. It's not just, you know, willy-nilly pick, see what happens. So, I mean, promising for an Australian team playing on what is arguably going to be a bit of a tough matchup given the ping difference for them. So, you got to respect that they're coming in with some seriousness. They want to try and take it to a team like Na'Vi as well. That could be a pretty daunting prospect, but it's time to jump on into game one. Match one of the day, Max Aura from Australia, Na'Vi out of Japan. It's time to get things underway, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I got confirmation as well that Lark is indeed Blackjack, which is good to know because he is probably like top 2, top 3 most known OCE players. So, you know, bringing in a little bit of extra experience here for Max Aura. When I say OCE, I mean mainly like Australia at this point. However, early on, as we kind of predicted, the Carl gets the blue star pretty much for free. There's no way to contest that. However, Max Aura, they're going to have to utilize that range on the Mandy to probably try to find an opening here.
They are trying. Lark is trying to get those shots through, but Levi does not stand still for a moment and is going to be able to avoid a decent chunk of that damage, in the 8-bit team up with that Carl is going to force them back off. Levi and Sizu is going to make this a bit of a tough one for Max Aura. Very aggressive push from Suzuki, but the gadget there is going to... Suzuku. Jesus, all these names make it very, very hard. First cast of the day, Teddy. It's going to be a fun one.
Definitely so. So far, though, about a minute and a half in, still just that blue star that makes a difference. But Max Aura, they are going to have to try to find some sort of an opportunity to open things up. Now, they have a super on Blackjack. He goes for it, but he's going to completely whiff it. I'm not really sure who he was aiming for there. The Chappie definitely miles away from that Mandy super, and for now, it's still Na'Vi in a good position. That Chappie finds a follow-up there onto Blackjack. It's 3 stars now for Na'Vi.
He's downtown with the Gene, looking to go to work, and he has the pull there. Suzuku has the super up again, just in case it's needed. And we're getting final 15 seconds here with Bounty in. So far, Na'Vi haven't really been contested, and signaling away a Chappie does send out the hook, but it's not going to find much of anything. Na'Vi will work their way back up the map with 4 seconds remaining. Max Aura on for the force, but there's little to nothing I think they can do here. Yeah, match over. Na'Vi will take the first round.
Pretty straightforward first game here for Na'Vi. Max Aura, they didn't give too much away. Like, it's only a 3-star difference at the end of the day. But I also feel like they got nowhere close to getting any opportunities to get any kills and get any stars of their own. So to that extent, even though it's only 3 stars for Na'Vi, it felt still like a very comfortable victory here.
Yeah, well, obviously something needs to be sorted there. It was just, I mean, as much as Max Aura did draft force, you know, that range threat, having the Mandy, having the Larry Laurie to try and clear out the damage boost. Unfortunately, for the most part, Larry Laurie on the wrong side of the map, but getting into it, the Chappie's going to start things off with a lovely opener onto the RT. Very early pick, and I mean, in terms of that, Sorry might be starting this off in a rough spot and have given it pretty significant advantage to Na'Vi.
Yeah, this is a bit of the challenge, I think, as well with the draft from Max Aura, is that I think having a thrower to deal with the 8-bit turret is pretty much a must. The problem is the Carl counters scores very nicely. I mean, as you can see here, he's just going to run after Kate. And there's pretty much no answer from Max Aura. The super is going to be a miss here again from Blackjack or Lark, for the people that have been following the Australian scene for a few years. It's a familiar name, but so far the results not quite what they were hoping for on the Max Aura side.
No, Max Aura's draft has, I think, largely been counted. Suzuku on that 8-bit has the booster. I mean, 8-bit in general just has a lot of range threat, and there you go, super in from Levi's going to jump on to 2. K-Brawl and Lark go down. Sorry, they're up in the face. I don't know if K-Brawl can do much. And well, it's a 13-3. They do take down Suzuki, so if nothing else, they've got that going for them here on the bounty. Larry Laurie, K, he's going to play that right-hand side, try and get in. But with the bounty being such a significant margin, Jaffe takes down, sorry again, K. Backs off, but he's little to nothing I think they can do at the moment. Unfortunately, a draft that was designed to be a threat at range has been largely countered with a draft that's much the same.
Yeah, I think this is a testament as well of the kind of like ping nightmare that you tend to have when you are competing from OCE. I think it's a bit of a strategy mistake as well, perhaps, to go for sharpshooters when you know that you are going to have some issues with delay. It's near impossible to hit your targets at that point. So maybe you want to go for brawlers that have more like AoE, less like, you know, lower skill ceiling brawlers. This is something that we did see a bit more during Season 1 as well, where we saw the adaptation, where a lot of OCE teams, where they're like, okay, well, maybe we should go for something a little bit more, pardon my French, brain dead. and just try to cheese their way through.
Be the best way to put it. But yeah, keep it simple. Play something more in the lines of the controllers that you can just sort of dictate where your opponents are going to be playing, just so they have to avoid damage. But I mean, look, Na'Vi definitely understood what they wanted to do going into that Max Aura draft. They played it, and they played it very well. I mean, the Carl, their strategy was largely telegraphed as soon as that pick came through, and there was little to nothing to do on the side of Max Aura because of the ping, like you said. So hopefully, going into the hot zone, things change a little bit in the Max Aura draft.
Yeah, one thing more mentioning as well, Billy, is it's best of 3 now compared to Season 1 where we had everything best of 5. Here, for the most part, and especially on day 1, everything is going to be best of 3. So, you know, if it's a quick 2-0, it's a quick 2-0, but I guess that will save us from more suffering here for Max Aura in this series that so far are not having an easy time. But I think that if they have a win condition, it's going to be to try to outcomp their opponents. But it is very limited if they actually like are limited to, you know, lower skill ceiling brawlers. I guess it depends on the map as well, but I think that having something like, you know, brawlers like Coco and Sandy could probably go a long way in being just so much easier to execute than the sharpshooters versus like an already so incredibly mechanically strong team like Na'Vi.
Well, I mean, they do like to say in Australia, a good game is a quick game. So we'll see whether or not, if Max Aura do consider this a good game, because it is gearing up to be a pretty quick one. But I mean, going to Ring of Fire in the hot zone, I mean, with this, a couple of changes there, do you think that we are going to see Max Aura maybe go in for a more all-in committal? Because, like you said, the sharpshooters didn't really feel like they had much traction in that matchup.
Yeah, it is a map where you could see some sharpshooters. I think that there are a lot of like easier to play brawlers, especially easier to play under delay brawlers that could be applicable to this map. I mentioned already something like a Poco. I think that potentially just going for like a Poco Max comp could be a good idea. I think Meg as well is playable under those sort of circumstances. So those are kind of some of the brawlers that I would love to see. Again, I don't know if they will, because I think Poco Max is something a little bit of the past on Ring of Fire. But at this point, I feel like they gotta go for like some desperate comps, and that's the sort of stuff I would love to see. Maybe even try to cook something with a Chuck or something along those lines. I think there's some ways to kind of still cheese this map with a Melody as well. Some of those brawlers that aren't like too hard to pull off could give them a bit of a fighting chance. But I think they're facing a bit of a mountain here on the Max Aura side, and Na'Vi, I don't know if they will that easily let things slip.
Yeah, look, I'm just looking through what brawlers could be played and what could be done. I'm just racking. I mean, we've seen some interesting comps, but right now it's time for a quick break. On the other side, we look to head to Ring of Fire for the hot zone. Don't go anywhere.
Okay. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
Well, Na'Vi start the day with a strong victory on Bounty in the first best of 3 of the day. Terry heading to Ring of Fire for Hot Zone, though. Max Aura might find themselves out of this best of 3 in pretty quick succession. I mean, look, you talked about it, potentially the Max coming through. There's potential for some shenanigans for the Australian team playing on ping to utilise, but having a look at the draft, the Chester is coming through. Angelo, you did talk about Pam coming in, Meg coming in, sorry, but I mean the Pam there as well. This is a pretty interesting draft all said and done.
I think some of the directions here are more what I want to see from Max Aura. Again, considering like the delay they're playing with. I think Meg and Chester, great shouts to that extent. Angelo is like as sharpshootery as they get. So to that extent, I don't know if that's the move. I think Rust as well is a pretty nice counter there. So I like the draft from Na'Vi. This is more what I would have expected from Max Aura. Still kind of wish they tried something even like cheesier. But I mean, if they're comfortable with those brawlers, I want to see how they play them out.
Yeah, I mean, Bell on the side of Na'Vi. I mean, yeah, look, there's nothing wrong with a bit of cheese. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, Chester stock has been on the rise in APAC, it seems, as of late. So, I mean, seeing him come in here for the Australian team, obviously they've been watching that and like what they've seen.
It's been a more and more commonly picked brawler recently. Chester got some nice balance changes going in his favor. So across the whole meta, he's been stronger and stronger, getting picked here and there. Still not a top pick, but definitely not a crazy brawler to bring in. And so far, even though they're quite a bit behind, they're going to find an opening kill. If you look at the positioning as well from the Meg, she's all the way in the back line, really good positioning there, able to pick up a kill on the left-hand side, and things are looking much better here already.
Oh, the champion goes down as well. That's a bit rough. And all of a sudden, Max Aura really, they found themselves some priority. That Meg really pushing them back, playing that left-hand lane. Now Chappie coming in, providing that extra support, and Suzuki on the bell. Going to play a little bit more aggressively, try and zone out Max Aura. Kate gets in with the chest up. Short-lived, but luckily that Angelo, an absolute powerhouse, has been dishing out some big damage. Lark is putting Na'Vi under some pressure here, it feels.
That's a nice thing with the Angelo, though. If you're up close and you have super and some charged shots, you can still do a lot of damage, even if it, you know, usually at a distance it would be harder to aim. It gets a bit neglected. However, for now it is still Na'Vi steadily getting percentage after percentage. Guy is marked out on the left-hand side as well. Will fall now to Levy. and this should be a comfortable victory still very much for Na'Vi. The most signs of life we've seen so far from Max Aura, especially early on, where they were able to find some nice value, an opening kill on the right side, a kill on the left side as well. I think they got 2 kills before Na'Vi got a single one. However, as soon as they lost control, it really seemed like they had no utility to take it back.
I mean, Chappie on the roughs, I mean, he had a huge amount of control on that right-hand side, and I mean, they just did sort of split positions with the Meg, so it was largely traded, but for the most part, Chappie's positioning there, helping the team, getting that super in and providing that extra support. So, yeah, it's chest up, under the pump a little bit. Suzuki on the bell with that marksman, really just trying to dish out the punishment. Max are now playing off the front foot, getting themselves into the zone to start racking up a bit of an advantage. Pam on the job, though, is going to make this a little bit hard, clears them out. K pushed back, and the rest of Max Aura follow. Chappie on the roughs gets aggressive. Lark in trouble now. Will look to dish out some huge damage. Finds the fadeaway onto Suzuki as well. Despite the flurry of activity going the way of Max Aura to start things off, Na'Vi have regained some ground.
Yeah, again, not a bad start for Max Aura. However, Na'Vi are still steadily building up that lead. Kill from the champion to K means that Blackjack is left pretty much all by himself on the left-hand side. No support, getting pinched up potentially by a Chappie as well. But with the healing station here, I mean, there's just nothing that Max Aura can do. They just don't have the burst damage to take any of those players out, and they're just steadily increasing that lead furthermore. 10% away from the finish line now on the side of Na'Vi, and surely this series is already done and dusted in 2 sets.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, Lark is playing deep in the back line, but again, you see Na'Vi adjust. They get in onto the zone, sit a Chappie a little bit further forward on the roughs to zone the rest of Max Aura out. And I think it just goes to speak the level of experience coming out of a team like Na'Vi. They know exactly what to do in that situation because they've played it time and time again. And looking at the numbers, yeah, it definitely backs that up. Better showing out of Max Aura, but unfortunately, Na'Vi are just that much better of a team, especially given, you know, the whole ping situation as well.
Yeah, definitely so. I think this is also the nice moments for us to have a best of 3, because would the result really have changed in a best of 5 setting? Probably not. So, you know, it's GG goes next. A chance for Max Aura. Still in the lower bracket. It is a double elimination bracket, so they are not out of the competition just yet. However, you know, they lost their extra life at this point, and Na'Vi, on the other hand, are going to be very happy to be moving to the next stage in the upper bracket.
And of course, it's not our only match of the night. We've got several more best of 3s to play up next. Coco Loco, a team that is hungry for success in APAC, taking on ranked noobs out of India. We come back after the break, Teddy. One more best of 3 to kick off this start of stage 2 of the LPL APAC Brawl Stars Tour. See you soon.
Okay. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
Hello, welcome back from the break. It is, of course, stage 2 of the LPL Brawl Stars Asia Pacific Tour. Now, if you think you have what it takes to crack on in and play yourself some Brawl Stars, throughout the month of August, there are 8 Brawl Stars tournaments going on, courtesy of LPL in the 1v1 and the 3v3 format. You can play both formats at the same time if you're really keen. With the 3v3, you got obviously, you're going to need 2 others to try and help you out play it, but you do have the chance to win yourself some LPL points and tokens in the 3v3 and just LPL points in the 1v1. Who knows, Teddy? They could, in a couple of months, be playing in stage 3 of the LPL Brawl Stars Asia Pacific Tour if they think they're good enough. But Teddy, it has been a bit of a delay, and unfortunately, ironically, we have some unfortunate news on top of that with Delay Esports.
Yeah, there's a team that unfortunately is not quite showing up. It is not Delay Esports. I think it's Ranked Noobs, other Indian team. But yes, it is Ranked Noobs. They decided to forfeit not only their upper bracket match, but also their lower bracket match. So unfortunately, that's the end for them. Now, let's be honest here. Is it a huge loss? Like, no shade towards Ranked Noobs, but they would not have won against Coco Loco. I think that Coco Loco are a much stronger team. So to that extent, I don't think it changes too much for the upper bracket.
Yeah, I mean, look, Coco Loco, they're a bit nuts. Yeah, look, let's get into what would have been our third match, but is now technically our second match of the day. It is, of course, Delay Esports taking on Crazy Raccoons. And Teddy, some people might actually be familiar with Delay Esports because that's not the name they usually play under. In fact, it's an amalgamation of some very capable players and former members of Revenant, who played last tournament as well.
Yeah, it's a very strong team. I mean, I think Surgeon Clash as well is one of the best APAC players, like, straight up. However, it's been a bit of a disappointing year here for Delay Esports. They only got 6th place, so 2 slots away from making it to LCQ and about 100 points away from LCQ. So they were not, like, closely behind. It was a disappointing year. They only qualified for 3 out of the 5 monthly finals. Never made it past semis either. So yeah, recently left Revenant too. It's not been a lot of good news recently for Revenant, at least when it comes to 2024. I'm hoping that this is the first time we see them like properly shine again in a while.
Well, look, Teddy, there's a pretty easy fix. If you can't take the tournament to the players, take the players to the tournament, maybe. Who knows? Down the line, it could be a possibility. But for their opponents, it has been anything but a bad year. Crazy Raccoons have looked pretty on fire, if we're being honest, Teddy. Tensai, Shitatampo, and Moyatampo have been one of the top, hottest rosters in this competition and APAC as a whole.
I mean, do they need an introduction? They're the #1 seed in the APAC region in the Brawl Stars Championship. They are already qualified not to LCQs, but straight up to the World Finals. Qualified 5 out of 5 monthly finals. Won 2 of them as well. Their worst placement was top 4 in a monthly final this year. They're the winners of our first stage of the they're the top team region. They're the top team in this tournament as well. However, they did have a bit of a close encounter in Season 1 against Revenant, where they only narrowly won 3-2 against them. Something about the latest monthly final in Navi. We don't have to talk about that one right now, but I mean, looking at the maps, unfortunately, I do have some bad news, Teddy. Because we skipped Game 2, we're back into the same map pool that we had for Game 1, so that's how it's going to work. We can change map pools throughout the tournament, and we've gone back to it. But I mean, Bounty in the Shooting Star, Hot Zone on Ring of Fire. We didn't get to the gem grab on Rustic Arcade, but I mean, given what the caliber of teams we're going to be seeing going into this matchup, and given how that match went up last stage, do we think that there is room for maybe some pressure to be put on Crazy Raccoon? I think so too. I think that here as well, it might be a blessing, to be honest, that it is best of 3 for the ex-Revenant team, because Delay Esports, they're the underdogs here, heavily so, but 2 outdrafts in 3 sets, a little bit of luck here and there. I can see it happening. In 5 sets, much less likely, But here, I feel like there's definitely more of a chance. So, little format change we have for this season might be benefiting Delay Esports just a little bit more here for an underdog story. I mean, it makes sense, right? Usually, the less maps you play, the higher the chance for an underdog story. And I think this is one of those situations where Delay Esports, they're really not going to be minding that.
No, I mean, again, it goes down to a good game is a quick game, and I think that's exactly what Delay Esports are banking on right now. If they can get 2 quick wins and carry on that upper bracket run, maybe upset Crazy Raccoons, force them into a lower bracket run. But I mean, again, we do also have to consider the fact that this is the full Crazy Raccoons roster, not playing with a sub from Rival like they were in last stage. Tensai is back, he's in the thick of things, which can only mean that this is an even stronger Crazy Raccoons than they were in stage 1.
Absolutely so. Well, Tensai, he didn't ego us. He actually was attending the launch of Squad Busters. So, you know, he had a good reason to be away. However, he is very much present this time around. I noticed as well that Milk Rio is still registered as a sub, so they didn't just, like, you know, ditch him either. So, good for him. But it is the full power roster being brought in here, and that makes it even scarier for Revenant.
It really does, and unfortunately for the viewers at home, we're going to have to build some suspense to make sure that things being as scary as they are and intense as they are. We're going to start to a quick break. On the other side, we jump into the game and see how things play out. We'll see you back in a sec.
Okay. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
coming back into the LPL Brawl Stars Asia Pacific Tour. And I mean, look, we have a great broadcast going on here, but it is an APAC tournament, of course. If you are an Indonesian viewer and want to watch something a little bit closer to home, of course, you can check out youtube.com/@Storm16. That's 2 M's, Storm16 on YouTube for the Indonesian broadcast. Teddy, we're jumping into Game 3, Delay Esports and Crazy Raccoons. A matchup which last stage almost resulted in a bit of an upset, but like you said, best of 3, quicker format, easy to get that dub. There's potential for even more of an upset here.
Definitely so. I mean, if you think it back, the last time those two teams faced each other in the LPL, if it was a best of 3, it would have been a victory for Revenant at the time, now Delay Esports. So I think they got their chances here. Now, they're still going to be underdogs. You have to remember last time it was also without Tensai, so the team synergy was Milk Rayo on the Crazy Raccoon front was not quite as sharp, not quite as smooth as we were expecting. This time around, they're coming in full force, full roster, no messing about, and that is a little bit of a scary sight here if you are a Delay Esports fan.
And jumping into the draft, I mean, once again, Crazy Raccoon on this bounty to start things off. No sharpshooters, they don't want anything to do with it, but you look at Delay Esports, no tech, they ban out the Carl as well, so no cheeky flying hook Blue Star steals on the bounty.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, but as a final reminder, it's shooting start for our opening set here. So looking towards sharpshooter ideas, usually it is going to be Gene first pick again. And I really don't mind it. I think it's a great approach, especially if you're on the delay side, which usually servers are going to be favorable to Japan when it comes to the versus against India. So I don't think it's a bad shout. Maybe the pools are not going to be the easiest to connect, but if you're in auto aim range, then delay doesn't really matter. And for the most part, the chip damage, like, it's absolutely fine to be playing Gene. So I really don't mind this approach here from Delay Esports. Crazy Raccoon, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going for. I mentioned it in our previous match when we had the same map that maybe Max could be an answer. It wasn't picked then. I feel like it could be picked here. They're going RT. So far, going exactly the same draft as our first match of the day. If they pair it with a Mandy, it's not possible. It's banned. I was going to say that would be completely crazy. But it is banned. They're going Bell, however. So very much the same approach. 2 sharpshooters. And I can't blame CR because they got the skill advantage. They got the ping advantage. Why not use that in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We did see that in the Ring of Fire, as opposed to the the hot zone rather than the bounty in our first series. But it's already something that we have seen so far to start this day 1 off of the playoffs. So, I mean, Delay Esports, where do they look to go from here? I mean, it's ambitious with the Gene, but if they can make it work, they need some decent follow-up. So, I mean, look, there's potential for anything, especially with a team like Delay Esports with, Sergeant and Captain Rocks in the mix. These guys are incredibly capable. And okay, the Eve coming out. Look, if they've got a game plan, it's one that could be very scary.
It's not really supposed to be a pick here. I'm not gonna lie. This is not something we see a lot at the moment. I think it's probably like kind of a knockoff version of Angelo, because you get that extra lane space by being able to go over the water. But like, is Eve good enough of a brawler for this? I don't know. I feel like maybe sometimes, like in highs on particular maps, I can see it work. I feel like this is a bit too much out there for me on Shooting Star. But again, they are playing at a disadvantage in already an underdog position. Going for something crazy might be what they need to do to actually find success here.
I mean, we'll have to see as we look to round out the draft. I mean, I could hypothesize and predict anything, but with an Eve pick, it sort of does just throw everything up in the air. Sergeant has shown that he's incredibly capable of playing a number of different brawlers. I mean, Melody being taken out was a pretty potent pick in the last stage of this tournament, but I mean, look, they're just going to let it hang, slow things down. Look, I couldn't even begin to predict right now, Teddy.
Yeah, well, if you want things to be put in perspective, I just to show you how much I don't enjoy this Eve pick so far, or at least it doesn't speak to me, I think I would have preferred a Grey pick over this Eve, which I think says a lot about,
controversial statement there, Teddy. That's very controversial.
Yeah, where I'm coming from here. Yeah, I just don't really see it. I think that the lobbies have crashed or something along those lines, so they might have to redraft. But yeah, we'll keep you guys up to date regarding everything that happens behind the scenes here. We should be getting into our match shortly anyways.
Yeah, no, we're not just building added suspense to make things even more exciting. No, yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a crash in the lobby. So they will just be getting those drafts back up. Same picks up until that point, but with 2 left remaining from what you saw. I mean, the Bell and the RT for Crazy Raccoons. It was up to you, Teddy. What do you reckon you'd round that out with?
I still think they could go for something like a max. They got the mechanics for it. They have the ping advantage as well. I think it's a great way to like pretty much kind of abuse it, playing those sharpshooters. And a max feels like the least fair matchup that Delay Esports could be facing. Maybe something that they might have to consider as well with their draft on their side to just ban out the max. I think it's something that could be abused here by Crazy Raccoon. I don't think they need to care too much because I think they know that the mechanics are where the difference is already huge here. And with the drafting possibilities being a little bit more limited on the Delay Esports side, I feel like Crazy Raccoons, they're probably not too fussed about the draft. They just want to make sure that they have bros they're comfortable with, and they should be fine, even if they are countered a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's comfort's probably going to play a little bit more of a factor here for Raccoon. You won't see too deep into that draft book or the strategy book until I think they meet an opponent they feel a little bit more threatened by, the likes of an RV, the Coco Locos, potentially 3R, given how well 3R did in that last tournament. But I mean, I do have to say, I think you did call it early on. If Delay Esports are going to do something here, it needs to be a bit weird and wonderful. Try and catch your opponents off guard. And I mean, that Eve caught you so far off guard that I can only imagine what Crazy Raccoon might be thinking. And as we do get back into it, obviously everything's going to be the exact same up until those last 2 picks. So we will see the Bell, of course, and we will see the Eve. But from there, who knows? It is new territory.
All right, this is where we were at when the lobby crashed earlier. So the draft should be getting completed momentarily. Still don't really know what an easy answer would be here. Maybe an 8-bit could be a move here for India, or going for a thrower, even though they did ban the tick themselves. It could still be a play. Larry Laurie is something that comes to mind. For this particular map, Barry maybe even though this is probably one of the harder maps to pull it off. And Crazy Raccoon have a bit more of possibilities rounding out that draft, and they're gonna go Byron, so they will bring in the heals. Double healer with the Gina as well. Not a bad shot. Could technically go triple healer too, as the right choice of gadgets for the Eve, although that would be quite unlikely. No one really plays that, but the opportunity is there, and maybe that's the cheese that they're looking to bring in here.
And the Sprout to round things out. Now, Crazy Raccoon have done some fun things with Sprout in stage 1. They were toying with their opponents a little bit, though. I think we very much agreed. But, I mean, having that Sprout and having that little bit of zone control does mean, I think, that the RT and Bell could be a bit of a nuisance. Plus, I mean, having that thrower, that chip potential onto 2, potentially 3 healer setup for Delay Esports, it does make it a bit of a tough spot for them to be in.
I like the Sprout. I think it's a good pick. Kind of something I was potentially expecting from Delay Esports to see them either go like Sprout or Barry or something along those lines. They're not, so we'll have to see how this actually pays off here on their side. It's not going to be the easiest of matchups, but they do have some sustain, which is going to be very valuable. Let's see how easy this blue star fight is going to be, as Tensai definitely has easier chip damage from afar, and that chip damage is more than enough to secure a little bit of extra control and therefore lock in that blue star in the early lead for Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, I mean, the Ashe pick of Eve, you could see what the idea was, play through mid, being able to support Captain Rocks on the right-hand side of the map, but Sprout comes in as a thrower and just ruins that entire plan. Unfortunately, Clash is going to go up for a bit of chip damage if possible, but I mean, this one pick is almost single-handedly made this strategy much harder to play.
It has. Now, I still have yet to really see the value from the Eve so far. It's not like throwing. No one has died yet for Delay Esports, but it's just outranged and struggling to find opportunities. Surge and Clash did get a good tag onto the RT, but there's no opportunity for follow-up just yet. Super! The shot connects. It's going to be a trade, but Blue Star is going to be the tiebreaker, still keeping the advantage in the hands of Crazy Raccoons.
Yeah, I mean, they're far from a throw, but definitely feels like it's one of those telegraph strategies where they've clearly got a game plan and, well, Crazy Raccoon said, cool, we know how to deal with that. They've done exactly that with the Sprout draft and getting that blue star early, denying Ash that push up mid, which clearly was the game plan to be able to then play behind the wall, to sort of threaten over that right-hand lane. And now that forces Delay Esports into a situation where they're going to have to take some priority. Moya does take down Clash. They follow up with an easy kill onto Rocks as well. That Bell really threatening, and now Ash in a rough spot, given there's 15 seconds left and a 4-star lead. Teddy, this is a rough time for Delay.
Some good attempts here and there, but not enough, sadly, here for Delay Esports, as Crazy Raccoon should be able to swiftly lock in this first game and a team wipe at the end as well to just confirm their dominance. 10-star lead here to grant that first game to Crazy Raccoon, the well-deserved victory. And again, I had questions regarding the Eve. I know this is something that Delay Esports have experimented with in the past, but it's just not working here, and I don't really get the point of that pick either.
I feel like it may have been a little bit smoother if Delay Esports had the last pick and brought out the Eve, because obviously as soon as it was picked, it was countered by 10. So Ash will work his way up and take that blue star. So we'll see if second time is the charm here. Usually it's third, but unfortunately in this situation we don't have the third time. You're going to have to do it here, potentially force it. And, well, I mean, look, for the most part, so far for Delay, this has worked out better than the last one.
It really has. I mean, I feel like I kind of caster jinxed it. Now, I still think Crazy Raccoons got a lot of util to potentially come back, so I'm not too worried about their odds just yet. But it was an impressive start. I mean, Ash getting that blue star, getting a huge tag onto Tensai as well, created a massive opening control-wise. However, they've lost all of that map control now. It's going to be back to playing much more defensively. Surgeon, very low HP as well. Ash taking a hit as well, dodging his mate's healings is not ideal, but the heals come through now. The kill, though, from Tensai is confirmed onto Captain Rocks on the right lane, and that's a 1-star advantage now for Crazy Raccoon, and they're not looking to lose any of that map control now. They will respect the Eve hatchlings, but for the most part, they're just still gonna try to keep as much map control as they can.
Yeah, I mean, they've really been able to balance this priority, and the super does come out from Clash on the Byron. Don't know if that was quite what he had planned for it, but either way, with 30 seconds left, now onus is put onto Delay Esports, and Sprout with that hypercharge up and available. Should that hedge come out, it becomes that much harder. He just sits behind the wall, keeps throwing, doing exactly what Sprout was designed to do, and Delay have the onus. They need to be the ones to push on up. There you go. The hedge comes out. The Ash King with a jump over the wall, only to fall at the hands of Shitajampo. And Moya going to send it in deep. So did Clash alone. I mean, yeah, look, unfortunately, it was a risky gamble on that draft from Delay Esports against a team like Crazy Raccoon. It's probably not going to work. Against maybe another team in the competition, there was a chance, but yeah, look, I mean, that Sprout almost single-handedly undid that entire draft from Delay, unfortunately.
It was well drafted on there, and as I mentioned earlier, I don't think draft is like the biggest deal in this matchup for Crazy Raccoon. I think they're just happy to have like okay matchups, you know, they're comfortable with that. Looking at the scoreboard here, not the greatest for Delay Esports. They found 1 kill, and for the most part, it feels like a little bit of a Surgeon fest again. This is one of the issues that this team has faced before, where Surgeon is doing everything he can, pretty much toe-to-toe damage-wise with his opponents, or if the rest of the squad did not quite manage to follow up to those standards. So unfortunately, it seems like Delay Esports a bit lackluster in this opening set. I still think that the Eve pick was a bit of a wild one. It didn't really like make the most sense to me. I didn't really see why they really wanted that Eve, especially at that stage of the draft. But hey, they tried something out. It didn't work out. This time around, though, it's pretty much do or die, at least in the upper bracket, if they want to remain on that side of the competition.
Yeah, lower bracket run is going to be a bit of a rough one, especially given that we are obviously, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You start with the best of 3, but also in the lower bracket, the best of 3 can be that much more punishing. Either way, yeah, like it's not over just yet, but Delay Esports, look, let's turn our attention to map 2, of course. Ring of Fire, Hot Zone. I mean, what do you do? Because Eve, these weird wacky drafts clearly not working for the Esports. Do you reckon it's a case of, obviously, they're not playing as the core Revenant roster. It is a bit of a mishmash of a couple of different names who have had either in Revenant, have spent time on Revenant, or at least are well known in the Indian Brawl Stars community. Do you reckon that the strat book is very deep for a team like this, or are they just coming into it drafting on the fly?
Well, it's one of their challenges as well. Is I believe that one of their previous players was from Singapore or Hong Kong, so he had much better servers than even Crazy Raccoon here, which maybe helped them kind of like solidify one of their lanes further. Whereas now it's a full-on Indian team, so they are all playing with the same level of disadvantage, which might be one of the reasons that their performance is affected a little bit by it too. Regardless, Billy, we are going to be hopping to Ring of Fire next for our second set of the match. We saw it earlier. I wouldn't necessarily expect a similar draft. I still think that Brawl is like Meg, and you're the one during the break that mentioned Amber are really worth mentioning here, as they're kind of like on the lower skilling side of things, easier to play, and something that maybe Delay Esports wanna keep into consideration here.
Yeah, I mean, there's potential. The pick obviously going the way of Crazy Raccoon in terms of what they're going to be playing here. I mean, after that Eve pick, it's really anyone's guess, because Delay Esports are very, very keen to try something. So, I mean, looking at Lily, Chester banned out. The bottom right-hand side, we've had confirmation, is Berry. So that is a Berry ban. It's not just blank ban. Frank and Meg rounding it out from Crazy Raccoons. Interesting.
It's a lot of aggressive ideas being banned out here with the Frank and the Lily. It's going to be a Bell first pick. Very plain. Pretty much as plain as it gets for a first pick. Not something we see a lot at the moment. We used to see a lot of Bell first picks. It did get nerfed a little bit, so it's not as common nowadays. I don't think I'm like particularly fond of it. It will deal with any like Pam ideas pretty nicely. Same with like 8-bit as well, because the bounce shots are a bit dangerous. The Amber is going to be brought in. Meg is unfortunately for Delay Esports banned out by CR, so that's not an option. But Amber, I think, is a good shout. It's a strong brawler. It is not too hard to pull off. Can give you a nice advantage utility-wise as well if you can burn down some bushes. The gadgets can be versatile because you can use either depending on the matchups. So for the most part, I like the idea so far from Delay Esports. Let's see what they combine that Amber with. It's gonna be a Pam, so I thought the Bell would probably be enough to deter a Pam pick, but never mind. It's still being brought in by Delay Esports.
I mean, we did see the roughs come out for Na'Vi in the last series. I don't know, potentially. You could never really call something like that for Delay Esports after that Eve pick in the last match. Pearl coming. I was just thinking we did see a little bit of Pearl coming out in stage 1. I wasn't sure if we'd see much of it, and the Byron to round it out. Pearl, Bell, and Byron for Crazy Raccoons, and Delay Esports with the last pick. I mean, Amber, Pam, where do they go? What are your thoughts, Teddy, so far?
Well, healer on both sides here. Crazy Raccoon bringing in a Byron as well. Doesn't quite have the same like passive healing, but at the same time, you don't need to work your way through a super to heal your mates either. A bit more like a higher skill ceiling as well than Pam, so to that extent, it really just makes, Crazy Raccoon's got the better mechanics, they got the better ping, so the kind of brawlers that you would expect them to go for. Pearl, I'm a little bit less like enthusiastic about. I don't mind it, but it just feels like a bit of a weird one to bring in here. And look at that, the Piper from Delay East was not going to be an easy one to pull off under those current circumstances. However, Sergeant is an absolutely insane Piper, so maybe just a comfort pick here, hoping to just be able to get those stabs, get those big impact shots, and win those lanes. He, in theory, does have a decent matchup against the Byron and a good matchup against the Bell, so it's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. A bit of a risky pick here, but again, they got to take some risks.
I mean, there's a decent amount of poke on Delay Esports. Maybe that's their game plan. Sort of just deter from range onto the hot zone here on Ring of Fire. All right, let's get into it. This could be a bit of a trial by fire, I think, for Delay Esports. Obviously, they lose here. They're down into the lower bracket, so they're going to have to bring something very, very impressive. Bell playing through mid. Pearl on that left-hand side for Shitambo working its way out very aggressively. Ash doing much the same on the M. But Captain Rocks and Sergeant Clash already being zoned off, and First Blood goes the way of Tensai.
Already 2 homemade recipes down here for Surgeon. And still lost mid-fight. Does get a good tap now, but doesn't want to follow up just yet. Gonna open up those walls. I think that's a good shot because that removes that kind of like aggressive post that the Tempo can use to heal and find cover. We have a bit of a messy fight. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but trades are going to be favoring the people with control, and currently there's still Crazy Raccoon nearly at a 50% threshold already, which is looking very dominant so far.
I mean, this draft is looking brilliant so far from Crazy Raccoons. You've got Tensai playing through that mid lane, long-range controller in the Bell. Shitambo threatening left-hand side with the Pearl, and then Moya just bides his time, waits, and then as soon as he's provided that opportunity, will his work is at the right-hand side. So, yeah, look, it's nothing wild and completely out there, but it's a draft that obviously Crazy Raccoon are feeling incredibly comfortable with, and obviously Tensai playing some stunning brawl styles on the Bell. Has been picking up scalps left, right and centre, and he's just not stopping it at all. Ash King tries to contest with 4% left to go. All you have to do for Shitambo is draw attention. That's, I mean, Crazy Raccoon have played that brilliantly.
Yeah, that was a very solid performance on the CR side. Again, a little bit lackluster on the ref side. I don't know if the Viper was a shot. It started off not too badly, but you know, the homemade recipes, they are free damage, but it's only going to be 3-4 times depending on what gears you got, and that's just not really enough to find value, I don't think. Crazy Raccoon were able to just be more consistent and consistently causing trouble here for Delay Esports. It's match point here for CR. Delay Esports on the verge of dropping to the lower bracket.
Shitambo is going to be burnt down quickly. Captain Rocks finishes off that opening pick. Sergeant Clash, limited HP to work with, and Tensai locked in and loaded will take him down with the Bell. Has just not missed much at all across the field. Captain Rocks being threatened by Shitambo. The two frontline beefy brawlers trying to delay. Tensai connected on by Sergeant Clash. Ash working his way up the field, but will remove Moya. So just threatening onto Crazy Raccoon at the minute. But you can see it is not very long. Moya back in the thick of things, ready to heal up Tensai. And it's just about enabling Tensai and that damage threat here on Hot Zone so far.
And so far, it's definitely a better game from Delay Esports, but they are still far behind. Still not an easy start. Ashling gonna get melted now by the pinch of Tensai and Moya. Sergeant Clash trying his best to find some tags. He doesn't have a hypercharge, but he's marked up now too, so if he decides to go for a jump aggressively, he will take so much damage so incredibly quickly. He does pop the hypercharge now for the extra damage, but Tensai just does not miss. Nice 2-tap on his end. Tensai gets the super elf with the hypercharge. Does burn down, but nevertheless, it's a 50% lead still for Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah, and they get the spawns back up. They're staggered enough that they can just walk their way back into the Shitambo. Playing spoiler here up in that left-hand lane, up in the face, Captain Rock, 17 HP, but that healing station is going to go to work. Moya works up to the right-hand side, super out, will pick up Ash. Sergeant Clash diving back right into the landing arms of Shitambo. Captain Rock's going to be mopped up nice and easily. 15% hit for Crazy Raccoons to take not just the map, but the series as well. Moya just playing spoiler. They just get up in the face, and Delay Esports, no, they don't even bother leaving sport. They have been outclassed and outmanned every single round so far. Crazy Raccoons carrying on with the brawl stars that we've come to expect from them.
Definitely so. They're the #1 seed in the region. They're the #1 seed in the tournament here as well. And they're proving that absolutely right here. Very good performance on their end. Not super much to say, because honestly, they weren't really challenged much either, you know? They just played comfortable. They played their game, played comfortable brawlers rather than really trying to go for any crazy comps. I think Delay Esports had some right ideas, but I kind of want some of those Indian and OCE teams to maybe shy away from some of those higher like mechanical brawlers like Piper and just go for like easy to execute brawlers. I think they have to, and we saw so many missed shots from Sergeant, which you can tell that, you know, there's just nothing he could really do under the circumstances. And I think it's kind of like entering the battle was a losing strategy, and I am hoping that's an adjustment they're willing to make throughout the tournament.
I mean, both teams, the draft's largely similar ideas. You had one right-hand side was just there to zone, left-hand side, both players were just sort of that front line beefy, just try and distract, and then those hitting damage dealers in the mid lane. And unfortunately, yeah, like you said, that ping difference really punished Sergeant Clash. But look, that's game 2, well, technically game 3. We're now heading to game 4 of the upper bracket. It's going to be another interesting one, of course. I mean, I'm very, very keen for it. Of course, 3R had a phenomenal stage 1 coming into it. But after the break, we'll jump on and dive into the action. We'll see you guys back in a sec.
Okay. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
Three of 4 of our upper bracket matches done to start off the day, Teddy. And, well, we've got one more to go. It's going to be a very interesting one at that. But there's lots of Brawl Stars to be had, of course, now and in the coming months. So look, I'm super excited with what we're seeing at APAC at the moment.
I love the stories unfold within this region, and so many new up-and-coming teams as well showing up. Monkeys on the day, and a bit to be wonderful. But there's a lot of opportunity here for teams to kind of just show up ahead.
Oh dear, it seems like it's that exciting that we're having some tech issues with Teddy. But I mean, Monkeys on delay, from what we understand, largely unknown. 3R Gaming Neko coming in, looking very, very solid out of stage one. And look, I do have to say, it's nice to see that an Australian team is not the first one being sent packing in that lower bracket, Teddy. But look, unfortunately, on how they got there. Let's get into our quarterfinal, of course. It is in this upper bracket matchup. Monkeys on delay taking on 3R Gaming. And I mean, 3R Gaming have had a lot to prove over the last few months, and they're looking to do it again here.
They are definitely a super strong team. They showed that as well, especially the first season of the LPL. There was a little bit disappointing, I think, for them this year, the championships. This is a good chance for them to kind of prove themselves. Monkeys on the side, though, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know those guys at all. All I know is that they signed up for the OP qualifiers. There were a lot of OC teams playing, so they kind of just sneaked their way into the LPL road now.
All I have to say, Monkeys on delay, who the heck is this imposter in the middle? Panda, joined by Tristo and Aspect, coming into it out of Australia. And yeah, look, it was the hardest of runs for the Australian teams, unfortunately. We want to see more of you guys out there, so you're going to have to sign up yourselves and try and make it a little bit of a harder run for some of those teams coming into it. But I mean, on the whole, I mean, it's those unknown quantities, Teddy, that can be the most deadly.
Yeah, I think maybe some of the delay here is rubbing off onto me.
No, I know what it is. Obviously, because obviously you're Northern Hemisphere with the cord's upside down, mate. You got it. Yeah, it's a tough
That's
one.
a nice spin on the joke from last one. I like it. I like that was classy. That was very classy.
Yeah, no, but
yeah. What was your original question?
Look, what I was saying is, you know, maybe it is a case of those unknown quantities that could be the most dangerous, but their opponents are pretty well known in the whole. 3R Gaming Neko, Mamashi, Yumigoku, and Sakura coming in out of Japan. Had an incredibly good stage one run. Unfortunately, they're still struggling against some of these higher end teams out of APAC, but a team that is definitely on the rise.
Yeah, they are. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed of 3R Gaming's year. I was seeing them as a potential like LCQ team. Right now, if you look at like, you know, the BSC 24 season being done and dusted, they're 4 slots behind from qualifying for LCQ. So it's been a bit disappointing on that front, and I think it's gonna mean a lot for them to have qualified here and have a chance to kind of like redeem themselves and show what they've got for the remainder of the year.
Now, we've had 2 sets of maps that have been exactly the same because we're alternating between matches. Now, Teddy, we actually get to play this one. We do jump over to our next set of maps. Minecart Madness for the gem grab, Pinball Dreams for the Brawl Ball, and, of course, Hot Zone Open Business to round out this best of 3. Bit of a change up, and look, I have to say, it's good to see something fresh.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is going to be a nice switch of pace here. Minecart Madness especially is going to be an interesting one, especially under delay. That's not going to be a fun time here for the Monkeys. We'll have to see what kind of adaptations they can make to try to negate this and play their best Brawl Stars, because they're going to need it here against a heavily favored 3R roster.
Well, Monkeys on delay will have that first pick, of course. I don't think 3R Gaming Neko are going to really care about that at all, if we're being perfectly honest with ourselves. Like you said, they're going to have a bit of an advantage in the delay as it is. It's an Australian team. They know they're going to be battling into that delay. I mean, again, it's one of those, we're going to have to see that the bans, we're going to see after that draft starts to evolve, because, I mean, Lily, Berry, Miko being taken out, Kit, and, of course, the Meg rounding it out.
Looks like a double Berry ban here, as Monkeys on delay and 3R both don't want to see none of that creeping into this draft. And Amber first pick, again, against some of those teams that are going to be competing from like India or OCE, and we'll have a bit more ping. I think Amber is a great shot. I think bros like Amber, Meg are great approaches to your draft. In certain circumstances, you can go Coco, you can go Sandy as well. They're a little bit more map specific. I think they're the right sort of mindset to have into your draft. So I already feel really reassured in a way. Like I wouldn't say that Monkeys on delay have great odds here, but I'm reassured that they're taking the right approach rather than going for some sharpshooters or high mechanically demanding brawlers. So I like that.
Angelo and Gale, the first round draft for 3R Gaming Neko. I mean, saw Gale banned out in that last series. I mean, in all honesty, that Angelo could be a bit of a problem. Gale as well, just threatening things. I mean, Monkeys of the Lake was always going to have a tough job of it, but it doesn't seem that 3R Gaming are making it any easier either.
Yeah, I really like the Gale pick. I think it's a very, very strong brawler at the moment. The hypercharge addition to his roster, rather to his kit, has really made him much more competitive. I think it would have been a great pick as well, potentially for Monkeys on Delay. It's one of those brawlers that I think that is not too hard to pull off as a sort of like wide AoE shot. So to that extent, it's something that I would have liked to see on their side. Maybe one of the reasons why 3R decided to take it for their own. It can also be used very nicely with a knockback against a minecart, meaning that, you know, you take an extra 2k damage from that. That would be interesting for sure.
Spike and Bow for Panda and Tristo respectively. I mean, obviously, there's a plan. I hope there's a plan, but I think I suppose the Spike, not the worst given the delay, but on the whole, do you reckon this is going to go that favourably?
I think it's a bit of an interesting draft for Monkeys on Delay. I think Bo is and Spike, both, again, brawlers that are very playable on Delay. However, they're completely off meta right now. No one plays Spike unless you really need a tank counter and there's nothing else available. No one really plays Bo either in the current meta. It used to be like a staple like 2-3 metas ago, but it's been a few months now, so it's definitely an interesting draft here. I think the Larry Laurie makes a lot of sense as well. It's going to do really, really well around walls, and there's plenty of those, including moving ones on minecart madness.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to call it, but there you go. In Goku, already in the thick of things, Aspect dishing out some punishment. Sakura, they're just going into hammer and tongs. Early gem pickup, Panda. Just playing a dangerous game up the front. It's actually Tristo to be carrying it. Larry Laurie for Sakura gets the first kill of the game. Tristo forced off in the moment. Mamashi will take the gem for his team to apply that lead. Has all three for the team. In fact, there's Angelo. Oh my lord, yeah. Tristo, you can't be standing out in the open like that.
Yeah, that is kind of the problem, especially at this point as well, where the chokehold is just very small. There's not a lot of different angles where you can go back towards the mid. A nice burn, though, will connect onto Yume. He burns before the jump pad jumps him over. However, the jump pad might still be quite an annoyance here for the Amber, because that means fighting from that angle is going to be even more awkward than before, as you don't want to be launched forward as an Amber. You will fall down in a more aggressive position anyways. Yeah. And look at that, the minecart is going to claim Tristo's life as well. Things not starting off well here for the Monkeys on Delay. It's 3R Gaming as a countdown.
Yeah, look, okay, he knows full well what just happened, and he's copping it on the chin. 11 gems for 3R Gaming. Panda's worked his way at the field, but it doesn't matter. Yume Goku playing zone very well on the Gale. I mean, Yume Goku's Gale there was pretty terrifying, in fact.
It really was. Again, I would have loved to see that maybe as a pick on the other side of the matchup. It's a bit of a wild one. I think that maybe this is like the other extreme where they went for brawlers that are good on the delay, but they are so off meta that it is a bit off-putting here for Monkeys on Delay. And I don't know if like it's intentional. I don't know if they just don't have the strongest grasp of the meta. They had a good start though. Tristo very confident earlier, able to pick up the first 2 gems, but after that he didn't really get access to the mid ever again. The outrange from Mameshi on the Angela was just too much for him to handle, and right now Aspect is so low HP as well. Sakura is going to take an advanced position on the left-hand side, and the nightmare seems to be continuing here for Monkeys.
No, we did see a lane swap. Aspect and Panda switching sides, the Spike going right. Going left. Unfortunately, it really hasn't achieved, I think, what they were hoping it would. Yume Goku still at range, spraying out damage. Mamashi through mid. On the Angelo, he's just plugging away with the bow. And that charge shot is such a powerhouse. Sakura now zoning. They've got 8 gems, about to be 9. Is they're going to pick it up? And yeah, look, there's only so much you can do. Even the Larry Laurie clone is just sitting there, just scouting them and then forcing them off the angle. 10 gems in the pocket. We hit that countdown time, but Panda's going to work his way up. Get caught. And Marmashi actually the one to finish it off. The snipe from range from Aspect. He's going to be threatened as well. They just went their way back up the field. Sakura in deep with 2 seconds left to go. Pretty low-key win for 3 Gaming there to take the first map.
Nicely done by 3 are not much of a challenge for them either. They seem confident. They seem like they were just really playing their game, not having to mind too much about what their opposition was doing. Again, I was kind of surprised by the decent they got early on the monkey side. However, past that, they just never got mid control again. And there's 2 kills on Aspect. Aspect is pretty much the only one playing here for monkeys so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, a decent damage output on the whole. The most by, he's got more than half of the team's damage on the whole for monkeys on. I mean, it definitely felt like they were making a bit of a resurgence throughout portions of that map, but on the whole, 3R Gaming playing a fairly solid game across the board. So unfortunately, yeah, monkeys on delay. Gonna have to try something a little bit different if they want to get one up on 3R Gaming going into the hot zone, of course. But I mean, in all reality, I don't know if there's much more to expect other than 3R Gaming walking away with this series in the upper bracket. Unfortunately, Teddy is having some minor issues. Again, turn the cable up the other way. It's northern, southern hemisphere stuff. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, 3R Gaming played a very good stage 1. They're playing a pretty solid stage 1 to start, although that ping is probably helping just a little bit. Surely Teddy will be back in just a second. So, I mean, if we're looking at what maps are available, or potentially only the 1 map left available in this series, monkeys on delay. We'll see if the draft works out in a similar way, but on the whole, I'm not sure if Pinball Dreams and the Brawl Ball is one that favours that ping delay and the weird and wonderful picks. But, I mean, honestly, it's anyone's guess how this one goes, of course. But I'm expecting big things. 3R Gaming probably looking towards the next stage of the upper bracket to really feel like they might have a big matchup coming their way, obviously. But Teddy, I mean, going to the Brawl Ball, we haven't seen it yet, this tournament in the upper bracket, because obviously we had a forfeit. Do we see the crazy draft maybe having an impact there?
Hey, I don't know. There is a chance, maybe. I think that this opening set was a bit of a mystery draft still. I don't know if they just decided to actively go for only brawlers that are pretty good under delay and try to navigate that route, or if it was just maybe a lack of knowledge of the current meta. I'm not really sure what it's like on the monkeys side. So I think this second set maybe is a way to confirm that a little bit further. It seems like the coin toss was won by 3R Gaming, so they have first pick here, and they are gonna opt to go Gale, which again, we saw the damage they did with Gale in the opening set. Monkeys on delay have got to be cautious here.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what we're seeing, Larry Laurie banned out by both sides, Panda and Mamashi, opting into that one, but the Dynamite, the Barley. So 3R Gaming banning away the throwers here. Not wanting a bar. I suppose on delay it is probably one of those brawlers, or a class of brawlers that would favour a team like Monkeys on delay just a little bit more. But their first pick goes the way of Meg. So they will have the big mech to work with. I mean, 3R Gaming, you can't really expect anything too crazy out of these guys.
Well, I like the mech pick. It's, again, the sort of brawlers I like to see. I like to see, Amber and brawlers of that kind as well. So if they keep going in this direction, they will show, even if they were to lose, that they got a solid idea of what they're doing. Which, so far, does seem to be lining up that way. But the outskill, the outping seems to be really favoring 3R heavily in this matchup. Nevertheless, there's still 2 more picks for each side, and it is a Sandy, so again, the kind of brawlers I've been recommending so far. Maybe they're just watching stream and listening to me.
Maybe, who knows? They could all just be mind games at the end of the day. Maybe this is a team that makes that deep cut lower bracket run. We'll have to wait and find out. But I mean, 2 picks left for 3R Gaming. I mean, what direction do you reckon they head? It's going to be an Anita, which we didn't see much of in stage 1. It was banned out quite heavily, and look, no personal bias or anything, but she has a particular skin which I very much vibe with.
Okay, a Willow actually coming through as the final pick for 3R is a bit of an interesting one. I don't mind it. It's something we've seen here multiple times before. You can get some very cheesy goals too with the mind control. So I think it's a pretty good strategy here from 3R. Overall, a pretty decent draft as well. I like the Gale, probably going to be something that you want to run in the mid and then have Nita on one side, the Willow on the other, and Monkeys on delay. What they really need is another lane brawler. Do they match the thrower energy, which is an idea? The problem is that the 3 most popular throwers here are already banned out. 4 actually, if you include Barry. They're gonna go wall break instead, which is probably wiser.
Well, going into it, look, it's a draft that is for certain. But I mean, look, the Griff, it's seen a bit of play, mostly from me in casual play. But obviously, Panda coming into it has a better idea of what he's doing than I do. So, I mean, the Sandy, Griff, Meg. I mean, Meg really of this draft. Meg was the one that we saw most of. I don't think we saw any of the other 5 in this lobby in our stage 1. Oh no, we did see a Sandy. That's wrong.
I don't think it's a terrible draft on their side. I mean, I think they're playing with their strength and they know their limitations. Is it going to be enough to stop 3R that have like a former world champion player on their roster? I don't know. They might need some more, but I don't think it's a bad shot overall. The wall breaks are going to be very valuable. And already on that left-hand side, they should start benefiting from the outrange here, but Sakura is just very solid on that. Nita finds a nice pinch. A 2-piece from Sakura. Trissa not able to stop the ball as Mameshi slots it in here for 3R.
Man, where are these guys when I play Brawl Ball? No one passes the darn thing. It's just, it's cursed. It's so cursed. But right now, Bear comes out from Sakura. Well, the elephant, rather. Obviously, it's not the panda skin, but we won't hold that against Sakura. The pass comes in, the 1-2 combo into the line, but it's intercepted, you mate. Bear gets the elimination. Tristo down. Easy goal. Easy 1-2 from 3R Gaming to take that first round of the Brawl Ball. I mean, they did what they wanted to do. They knew exactly what the game plan was, and they stuck to it.
Yeah, again, I think this is one of the like better drafts under delays that we've seen so far. But the outskill is still very much there. It's still a very hard time. They are going to switch lanes. So they will have the Sandy versus Nita on the left, and then on the right-hand side, Tristo on the Griff to face the Willow. Not a bad shout. I don't mind it. It's still going to be very hard because you still need to get that wall break placed out, and so far he's not been able to go aggressively enough to do that. Aspect is going to drop out of mech. Sakura has a bear now as well. Celtics was mind control there, but no time yet for Mameshi to score. However, that team wipe is going to secure it, and now 3R are a single goal away from qualifying for the next round of the upper bracket and knocking Monkeys down to lower bracket.
Well, I mean, ball's in play. Ime's going to pick it up, but Sakura doing a great job of zoning out. The elephant comes through as well. It's looking like it could be a very, very quick game indeed. Ball does get centered towards the midfield. That overbearing has done a lot of work, and Sakura closes it out. And 3R Gaming will take the first victory for themselves, or their first victory of the upper bracket. And well, Teddy, all 4 of our APAC monthly final teams are in the upper bracket and will be vying off in round 2 of the upper bracket. Now, I mean, Monkeys are like, look, you got to commend them. They showed up, they played, they did as well as they could, but 3R Gaming have been a pretty solid addition to this competition.
I think that honestly their drafts in both sets were pretty impressive on Monkeys on Delay. Now it didn't quite pay off with the results they were hoping for, but either way it was a very big underdog situation that they had to deal with, and they still managed to come out proudly here. They are dropping to the lower bracket, so it's not over for them just yet. However, as you mentioned, all the favorites so far have won their opening matches, and they are all going to be proceeding to the next stage of the upper bracket.
They are indeed. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one to see how that plays out. But I do believe we are heading to a break before we head down to the lower bracket. So when we come back, it's time to start sending teams home. We've sent one home already. Unfortunately, they're forfeited out. But unfortunately, we're going to see who is joining them in the opening round of the lower bracket. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
Coming back from the break to the LPL Brawl Stars Asia Pacific Tour. We're about to head down to the lower bracket, but if you're at home, you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, Teddy, I'd like to play some Brawl Stars. Believe it or not, throughout August, we've got 8 tournaments going on in the 1v1 and 3v3 format. Check out the QR code and you could jump into the competition yourself, win yourself some LPL points or tokens, and who knows, in a couple of months, you could be playing in the LPL APAC Brawl Stars Tour here in Asia Pacific as well. Let's have a look at the bracket and see what's going on down here. We've got to send one more team home tonight, Teddy, before we jump back into that upper bracket. Unfortunately, yeah, look, ranked noobs have forfeited. So, look, the one positive that we will take from this situation is at least one Australian team is making it further than just the 2 matches. We'll see if it's 2 now as we head towards Delay Esports and Monkeys on Delay.
It is a small victory, but a victory nevertheless. We know for sure, indeed, as you mentioned, that there is an Australian team that's going to win a match today, and I think that's cause for celebration, Billy.
It is always a cause for celebration. We know they can't win in the rugby, so they might as well win in the Brawl Stars. Delay Esports and Monkeys on Delay. I'm sensing a theme here coming into this matchup, but look, I will be the first to call a spade, Teddy. On one side, you've got Delay Esports, who, I mean, you look at the likes of Sargent and Captain Rocks, who have international experience, not to mention World Champs experience. On the other side, Monkeys on Delay. They've played at home on ping. It feels like it's a bit of a stacked matchup, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yes, well, it's still one that should, like, in theory, you know, be very favorable to Delay Esports, just because, you know, they have so much more experience. But at this point, you know, I'm of the mindset of, like, do you want Indian Delay or Australian Delay? Pick your own poison, and I think I would go with Indian Delay this time around.
Yeah, I mean, look, having seen them play on Delay, having seen a number of Indian versus OCE matchups, it can be very, very interesting. But Monkeys on Delay coming into it, they took a couple of kills off 3R Gaming. Aspect tried to hold it down for the team. Again, it feels like we haven't seen enough of these three to really make a proper call. You look at that last matchup, 3R Gaming had the favourable ping advantage. Monkeys on Delay. You're playing from Australia, which even at the best times, the internet's a bit questionable. So, I mean, maybe in a situation where the table, I mean, you know, the odds are evened up a little bit. This could be their chance to shine.
It could be. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I think that, like, you know, the ex-Revenant roster should have a big advantage in this matchup, I feel like Monkeys on Delay, I kind of prefer their approach to the draft. They were just non-stop only picking brawlers that are easy to play, that do well in their delay, and that's like the complete opposite than what we were seeing Surgeon and his friends doing in their matchups, because they kept picking like Piper and like complicated brawlers to pull off if you have delay. So to that extent, part of me does want to give a little bit of an advantage to Monkeys on Delay, because I prefer their approach to the draft. However, Delay Esports, they have a huge advantage in experience, in past like performances, and overall skill. So yeah, it's a bit of a different story here. I feel like both teams have their advantages, their disadvantages. Delay Esports overall still probably a favorite, but Monkeys on Delay, I like their drafting.
Well, back down here in the lower bracket, of course, we are still on Map Pool B, because obviously we skipped that first match of the lower bracket, which would have been Map Pool A. So getting the refreshing newer side of things, Delay Esports will have first pick as we go to Minecart Madness. I mean, look, on ping, I mean, there is potential that this could be an incredibly fun draft, Teddy.
I'm hoping for it to be the case, indeed. And looking at things, we're already in this draft. Lola is a brawler I thought about earlier. It was more for Ring of Fire, but in this case, it is still very much playable. Not a bad shout either. Again, a playable brawler under delay. Gale, I think, probably a stronger brawler, especially under the circumstances. I like that both teams are taking the connectivity as a factor, adapting their draft to it, and gonna try to find ways to just, yeah, kind of like mitigate some of that disadvantage. 8-bit is gonna be an interesting shout here, not something I was expecting, something that's, I would even say, a little bit new here.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen it already once today, but of course that was Navi. Playing on ping as well. So, I mean, in all honesty, personally, a bit of a favourite. I do enjoy the 8-bit, but look, I'm not going to call it the end of the world. India and the Delay Esports crew answering back with an interesting choice.
I mean, Janet is, again, like a brawler that like does well under delay, but it's not a meta brawler, so a bit of a question mark. Carl, I think, is a really good shot. I think that can really do well. I prefer the draft from Monkeys on Delay, I think. However, I think that, like, skill-wise, I still very much gonna go with Delay Esports. There are some nice matchups on their end too. The Bell doesn't do badly at all against the 8-bit, so that's worth mentioning as well. The Gale doesn't do bad against Carl either. And overall, I would argue that actually Delay Esports might have a better draft here, all things considered. The Lola as well does lead for some nice bouncing opportunities for the Bell, does lead to some nice AoE value potentially for the Janet. I think that, again, it's a very similar story where Delay Esports, they have a better draft, but Monkeys on Delay, they have maybe better like under delay draft.
I have to see it. Hold on a second, I'm just opening my shop real quick. That 8-bit skin is kind of crazy. I want it, I need it. Aspect the first to fall. And Panda has found the minecart, unfortunately. Not public transport, unfortunately, buddy. It is a job site hazard, if anything.
Yeah, the only place it will bring you to is hell, which so far seems like to be the circumstance of this match here for Monkeys, as they are locked in spawn. Surgery Clash is gonna say hi to the minecart as well, but he is fortunate enough to survive. Ash King finds a kill onto Panda, and right now, control-wise, things are looking more promising here for Delay.
Yeah, look, it's a hard pill to swallow, seeing Panda struggle like that. You want to support one of your own, but like him, and well, actually like me, he's probably feeling a little bit blue as well. But Sergeant Clash is going to keep things up with the belt. He's going to just keep plugging away. Aspect on the Lola, at least doing some damage to try and get your team in it. 4 seconds left to go as Sergeant is just going to back off, let Captain Rocks take the front line. And a pretty low effort win, I think, on the whole for Delay Esports. The MVP, I think, for that map was definitely the minecarts, though.
Yeah, he seemed to find some consistent value, especially against the 8-bit. That 3-tap was particularly impressive. Yeah, it was a complicated opening game here for Monkeys on Delay. I feel like this is kind of showing us what to expect in this matchup as well. Delay Esports, again, for those of you guys just tuning in or just don't have the context, they are ex-Revenant Esports, a World Finals qualified team last year. So definitely a strong roster that did underperform a bit this year. However, I don't think they're gonna let the likes of Monkeys on Delay cause too much harm to them.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure it is it's parts of the parts of the Revenant roster. I don't know if they're necessarily X. I would imagine they're just playing as an amalgamation under this roster as it is. I'd be very surprised if Revenant suddenly disbanded. Whatever the case may be, Revenant now will delay. It's Sergeant Clash and crew. Let's call it that. Delay Esports have the 8 gems. Sergeant Clash is just holding down mid. Tristo makes a bit of a gambit up, and unfortunately the timing is well off as that minecart comes around the corner, locks him in. Captain Rock's going to find Aspect as well. Panda's going to get his one, but Sergeant Clash answers back.
Countdown coming in here for Delay, and Keys are going to have to find a kill on Surgeon Clash to interrupt it. They find some damage when Ash King lands back and gets a kill onto Aspect. Tristo too far away to really make a play, and this is going to be game and set. Locked in by Delay Esports. Very nicely done. Clean performance on their end so far. Pretty much unchallenged in this opening set. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. They have the better draft. I thought the other one was a little bit more like Delay aware, I guess. But I think that when you have such a skill diff coming in play, it doesn't really matter. Delay Esports, they just have that in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd say better performance out of Monkeys on Delay than in their upper bracket match. But, I mean, again, when you're both battling Delay as severely as you are here, it makes for more opportunities, I suppose, to, dish out that damage and get a bit of punishment off. Either way, so far, Delay Esports looking like they are going to be the one to probably make this lower bracket run until they do meet one of those upper bracket teams.
Yes, it is a bit of an unfortunate situation there for them, but I think that on the Delay Esports side, they're just showing what we're expecting from them. They have the experience from Surgeon. They have some solid drafts, solid performance across the board, and they are showing us what they got. Moving forward, it's going to be Pinball Dreams for our second set. Again, we got that earlier as well. It's a great map. You definitely want to be aware of throwers, therefore also of wall breakers and assassins that kind of all have this sort of triangular matchup with each other. The mid area as well is absolutely key to victory too. So you want to make sure you have brawlers that are able to lock that area in. And
I didn't realize. Yeah, I just checked. So they have left Revenant Esports. So this is the new Delay Esports under Sergeant Clash. They played the last monthly final. Done. That's unfortunate. Either way, look, who knows? It may not be permanent. We'll just have to see. What we do know, yeah, obviously going into the Brawl Ball, Delay Esports having that one map advantage. I mean, Monkeys on Delay looked a little bit livelier in that last map, given that the upper bracket match was a pretty decisive sweep. there's potential. You got to imagine that if with a decent enough draft, Monkeys on Delay could potentially at least push this to a map 3.
It could be possible. I mean, they've shown some nice resilience with their drafts. I think that they are aware of the circumstances they're competing in, and they're trying their best to like kind of mitigate that and find solutions. So far, it does seem like it was a bit fruitless. However, it's do or die now for Monkeys on Delay. It's a best of 3, so if they lose this set, they are out of the competition. It's sad to see, but it is coming down to this here for Monkeys on Delay.
Look, I think the one consolation for Monkeys on Delay, even if they do lose here, there will at least be one Panda in the grand final. But look, it is what it is. I mean, in terms of what we could expect, I mean, looking at this matchup, I mean, on one side you got Sargent. He's attended Worlds. He's an incredibly capable player. Aspect is largely just doing everything that he can to try and keep his team in this. So, I mean, you got to respect that ambition is key. I mean, commitment is key. But again, it's still Sergeant Clash. He's, like you said, one of the best players in APAC.
An incredibly strong mechanical player. I mean, honestly, limited by his region, you know, limited by the fact he's from India. I think that if he was able to consistently compete from another place closer to servers, he would potentially be like top 5 best players in the region. Unfortunately for him, those are the circumstances he's in. He's still been able to make it work despite that. It has been a bit of a quieter year for him here in 2024, but our draft is kicking in now for our second set, and it's going to be a Gil first pick here from Monkeys on Delay. A good one. Again, we've seen it quite a few times picked out. Some interesting bans with a Primo ban coming on from Delay Esports is a bit more unexpected, but we'll see the Sandy being brought in by Delay now.
I mean, you got to respect the luchador. You can't be letting them get that best of you. But yeah, no, look, the Gale Sandy coming in, it's something we've already seen so far in the second half of the day so far. But I mean, again, where do you go? I don't think Delay Esports are going to dive too deep into the draft book. Chester coming out, which again, his stock has been rising globally with the buffs that he did receive. Monkeys on Delay, I mean, what do you answer back with?
Let's see what they decide to go for. The Chester again, a good idea here. I don't mind it. Sandy as well. This is kind of interesting because it feels like Delay Esports maybe making some of those adjustments and going for some of those easier to play brawlers. Now they know the matchup is in their favor here, so they don't have to take too many risks either with the draft. Monkeys on Delay now with there are 2 final picks to be locked in. I would potentially like to see it throw still, as there isn't really too much wall break. There is some potentially from the Chester, but you got to be a bit lucky with the roulette to actually land on the explosion super.
Well, I mean, with Delay, who knows? Maybe it's just a rough as spot as you're in as your opponent. So maybe that Chester, it just becomes a bit of a luck of the draw, because it can be good and bad luck either way. Monkeys on Delay, I mean, they're definitely milking the time here, trying to figure out what they want to draft. I mean, BB? Okay.
I mean, you wanted to see some BB today.
No,
I think
I just mentioned
before
that we
the stream
had
started,
seen some BB.
You were talking to me about BB, so that seems like they knew.
I just mentioned it got played last tournament and was completely countered by the Amber draft, but okay, look, Monkeys on Delay, looking to try and put all their eggs in one basket. So, oh, look, that's a pretty heavy commitment for the BB pick. What do they round it out with? They've got a Gale, they've got a BB. Where do they go? What's the call? And look, I respect it, but it's not allowed.
Hey, we mentioned that it's good to adapt to the circumstances. That this is a new way to do it. I'm sure that will be corrected shortly, or we'll see it in game. It was
a berry. Okay.
A berry. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
We were debated. We were told it was going to come up as just a blank square, but it wasn't. It came up as a Gale 2.0. So the berry comes in, the thrower. One of the newest additions. Oh, look at that. Panda, he's got the opening pick onto the surge, and they're going to try and whoop their way on in. Aspect trying to clear space, but Ash King says not today. Panda forced out. No attempt at the goal, unfortunately. They got so close. Teddy, they did. They really did.
This is the closest that Monkeys on Delay have gotten to greatness in this entire tournament. Great opportunity. However, the wall break on the left-hand side is going to make Aspect's life a bit more complicated. Bubble does connect, but not enough damage to get the kill onto Ash King. There are 2 supers available, though. 1, actually. Sorry, for Monkeys on Delay, 2, 1 for Delay. Can they find an opportunity? Ash King goes for the super, the wall break on the right-hand side. Captain Rocks will find a kill into Aspect, and it seems like it's Delay Esports back in the driver's seat now.
Yes, indeed. I mean, just having to close that gap for Aspect on the BB, especially when there's just so much range threat, is a bit of a problem. Sergeant Clash just lining shots up, sending them on through. Look, it was an interesting call, but the Surge has really done a lot to zone out. And Chester putting into work. Fairy dives deep. Panda's gone. Sergeant Clash with the open goal.
Nicely done here by Delay Esports. Clean game so far in their end, despite the slightly rocky start. Aspect does have hypercharge, but he's so low HP, doesn't really get the chance to pop it. Panda gonna get caught off guard here. Surgeon Clash was a free pickup, and this should be a goal-scoring opportunity. The defense is solid though from Delay Esports, from Monkeys on Delay rather, but is it gonna be solid enough? It doesn't seem so. Captain Rock slipped through with the ball, and it's gonna go straight into the net. Delay Esports at match point.
Panda a bit keen there, just dived a little bit deep and allowed the ball to be walked on home. I mean, I thought it was for a moment going to be an opening for Monkeys on Delay to maybe make a way out of their own half. That Gale super coming through, just stunning and being able to dissuade that goal attempt. But no, ultimately, Delay Esports doing what we kind of expect them to do in this matchup, just find the opening, pressure up the field, take that zone control and walk that ball into the goal. So, I mean, look, the draft is very interesting. The Surge Chester is really making it a bit hard. Sandy there as well. I mean, oh, wow, okay, yeah, okay. All right, nice, easy goal. Very quick goal for Sergeant Clash.
And that's not the rocky start that Delay Esports had in game 1 of Brawl. This time around, it takes 20 seconds for them to find a goal-scoring opportunity and actually secure the goal there as well. Tristan was a great super, but does only find 1 kill. Aspect, 1 Surgeon Clash, but doesn't have the range, doesn't have the speed. Will find Captain Rocks as a consolation prize, but nevertheless, Monkeys on Delay, they need to score here, or it's going to be the end of the journey for them in this stage 2 of the LPL.
Sergeant Clash is working the ball up the field. Aspect's there, jumps on in. The Surge going to town and making this hard ball pass into the hands of Trista, but Ash King's right there. So is Captain Rocks, who will look to finish Trista off. No, okay, he starts to toy with his foot a little bit, was going to walk that ball on in, but no, not to be. Ash on the Chester, just sitting here throwing bells. Has that super up and available. Sergeant Clash is here on the Surge as well. I have to say, Panda, he's probably going to have some decent damage numbers by the end of this. That berry has really been stacking them up. Much longer lifespan. Oh, my Lord. Okay, yeah, much longer lifespan there. And then Captain Rock sees me and goes and scores anyway. So, yeah, look, Delay Esports will take the series. Monkeys on Delay, the second team going home, unfortunately. But, again, there's still one Australian team in the competition, Teddy. So we'll take the copium where we can.
We will indeed. It's unfortunate for them. I think that they can still leave this with some pride. I think they had a decent performance in this match against a strong team. I particularly want to mention Tristo's efforts as well. They played really strongly in both games on that Gale. And really is the only reason I think that they managed to kind of like make that last set last for a bit longer. So nicely done on that end. It wasn't sufficient this time around, but it's going to be Delay Esports moving forwards in the lower bracket.
No, I mean, look, unfortunately, it is what it is. Both teams playing out of regions where the ping is a pretty decisive factor. And look, if you're thinking it at home, maybe you can do better. Remember, the only way to improve competition in your region is to get involved and make sure that there is stiff competition. But, Teddy, it's time for a break, and we head back to the upper bracket, of course. It's going to be an absolute throwdown. Navi taking on Coco Loco up first. Don't go anywhere.
Okay. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
Welcome back to the LPL Brawl Stars Asia Pacific Tour. We're coming back to the upper bracket now, Teddy. We've sent a couple of teams home. Now we head up to the upper bracket where our 4 teams, regular attendees of the monthly finals for Brawl Stars throughout the year in APAC, and starting things off with an absolute hitter of a matchup. It's Na'Vi taking on Coco Loco, 2 amazing teams that regularly compete at the highest level in our region.
There's a huge storyline here as well, Billy, because in the last monthly final, Na'Vi was able to secure their spot in the LCQ, steal Coco Loco's spot by 1 singular point, 277 points to 276. So Coco Loco, they're upset. They're incredibly disappointed, and right now they got 1 target in their mind, and that's taking down Na'Vi.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is the grudge match of all grudge matches coming into this upper bracket. Na'Vi, take the spot that you would arguably you discuss is being yours by right and then having that stolen away by 1 point. We've already seen that one this week, but Coco Loco coming into it, regular appearances in that monthly finals. They've looked very, very good as of late. In fact, they've had a number of very, very deep cuts in the monthly finals, Teddy. X9J, sorry, Response and Hiroshi. I mean, coming into this matchup, I mean, these guys could very well be in the question for a grand finalist in this tournament.
They're super experienced players. They've just managed to achieve a lot in their careers as well. Overall, a strong team for sure. A team that seemed, for the most part of the year, better than Na'Vi, except for this final month where they just didn't quite manage to go as far as they were hoping for. But yeah, as you mentioned, the grudge match is real here. And I think it's even stronger because those two teams, they haven't really faced each other this year in the Brawl Stars Championship. So you have the crazy storyline where Na'Vi steals Coco Loco's spot without ever facing them. This is maybe the chance here for either Na'Vi to show that they deserve to be the ones going to LCQ, or for Coco Loco to show they were robbed.
Yeah, I mean, that's arguably going to be the question. Let's have a look at the maps, of course, to see where this grudge match is going to be playing out. And starting off with the goalkeeper's dream on the Brawl Ball, hideout for the bounty, and then hot zone for dueling beetles to round out the best of three. And I mean, you look at it, Na'Vi proving that they rightfully deserving that spot. That's what their goal is here in this tournament, and Coco Loco out to prove that, well, maybe Na'Vi are frauds after all. It was always meant to be their spot, and that 1 point was much for muchness. But I mean, look, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I think I know who is going to take this series, but I could be wrong. Na'Vi have first pick on map 1.
All right, let's see what they're going to be bringing in. It seems like we have a Barry ban on Coco Loco's side, as well as a Gil and a Meg. Not bad bans across the board. The Meg will be double banned as well, adding Melody and Lily to the ban list too for Na'Vi. As Jean is going to be our first pick here for the Japanese roster. Again, a brawler we've seen many times so far today, and it is definitely a strong one when it comes to those open bounty kind of maps.
Well, I mean, I know who I could imagine being played here, much to your chagrin, but look, who's to say that a Grey doesn't have a place in this draft? No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's anyone's guess. Chester, likely, of course, given that he has seen that rise in popularity due to the buffs, and X9J is going to scoop him up for Coco Loco. I mean, you look at it, we've gone from two pretty drastically different teams in terms of their ping capabilities. Now we go to, I mean, a Singaporean team and a Japanese team, so the ping shouldn't be as punishing, but would still lean Coco Loco's way, I think, more. And then Max, of course, to follow it up.
It is slightly favorable for Coco Loco indeed, but honestly negligible at this point. Not really a big factor to keep into consideration. I don't mind the direction of the draft so far for Coco Loco. I think Max is a good answer. It's one that I've mentioned already multiple times when we had those Jean first picks. But this time it's actually coming through here for Coco Loco. Trying to maybe out-mechanic that, and the Chester as well. Chester seems to be the new Grey, to be honest, because we do see a little bit in other regions since the last few balance changes where it did get buffed a bit, but it's still like a bit of an out of the meta pick. It seems like so far APAC have entirely embraced this new brawler, and honestly, I think Chester is a new Grey.
Well, look, we'll see. We'll see. It's still too early to call, I think, at this stage. But Larry Laurie coming through for Na'Vi. One pick a piece left to go. I mean, probably looking for something a little bit beefier, maybe, some frontline options. Meg being banned out leaves the likes of Hams potentially, if that's what you're looking for. Maybe you do go for a bit of a little long-range threat, but I mean, you're looking at the Brawl Ball, so I mean, you kind of want sort of that middle ground, high damage, high sustainability, maybe some frontline.
Let's see what kind of ideas they have in mind here. Could still go for some like sharpshootery approach. Could go for something a bit more close range. Things like a Nita could come to mind as well. And actually they are going to go full on aggression here with the Buster. Good shout here, probably, that we haven't seen at all so far. Surprisingly enough, because it is a top meta brawler, so on many different maps, works well with a lot of different comps. It has one big weakness, which is kind of dealing with other tanks, and that's exactly what we're gonna see here from Coco Loco. They're going for the Frank, a good shout, a good draft on their end. I think that the drafts here are fairly even, but the Frank versus Buster matchup is a bit of a weird one as well, because the pool can be really annoying from the Buster. So I don't know if it's necessarily a directly hard counter. It does bring wall breaks as well, which is great against a Larry Laurie. So I definitely see some win conditions on both sides here.
Interesting. I mean, stage one, the Frank pick would have been almost considered heretical. It just wasn't quite what you were looking for. But it's time to get into it. This upper bracket matchup, a grudge matchup too. Of course, Na'Vi taking on Coco Loco here, and it's gold across the board. Down on the bottom half of your screen for Na'Vi, leaning into the team colours.
Aggression from the Max with some chip damage is gonna dissuade him away. Choppy trying to get some tags onto the Frank, which so far seems to be working out quite nicely, but a pull is gonna be very strong. The defense doesn't hold up, and a breakthrough goal early on already from Hiroshi. Coco Loco is the advantage.
Yeah, and I mean, grudge match again, that speed coming through. Remy getting in deep, and oh, that's brutal. Oh, that's so rough. It just leaks its way over the line. And Coco Loco with a very quick round one, Teddy. That is potentially going to sit in the back of Na'Vi's mind there.
I'm surprised by how insanely quick and strong this opening performance is from Coco Loco, because I've seen Frank versus Buster matchups a few times recently, and it felt like it was fairly even, because the Frank has the edge, except for the fact that he can get pulled, which makes it really annoying if you want to use your super, or if you're mid hypercharge or anything like that. But so far, it seems like it was an absolute non-issue for Coco Loco. Frank being played really well, and some good value as well, closing the gap. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade here, but there is a pool which should dissuade any further aggressive ideas in this 2-on-2.
I mean, response going down, front line removing, now back up, and yeah, this Max can just start speeding things up. Response cutting deep into the team. Buster with the montage trying to keep things alive. Levi does survive, gets it up, and oh, just stopped on the line. Suzuki passes it off to a chappy. They're just going to sit it back in their bottom side corner, right-hand corner. That was, I mean, PTSD moment from that last round. That could have been a pixel more, and that would have been a goal for Coco Loco, and that would have put them up on that point. And response cuts in deep. Levi goes down, X9J, and it's on Suzuki. And Chappie, sorry, to try and hold it. Hiroshi sends the ball in, left-hand corner, and the first goal of round two goes away Coco Loco with a minute on the clock.
The play again from the Max to Frank as well, as I mentioned earlier, playing so well. The wall break is going to come through, no way to interrupt it at this point. And look at that damage output, absolutely crazy from Coco Loco. The goal follows up, and that's a quick, smooth, and safe set here for Coco Loco. What a statement here.
1 point difference, Teddy. And that, yeah, it definitely feels like there is a bit of a chip on the Coco Loco shoulder after that game. Wow, Coco Loco absolutely manhandling Na'Vi. A chappie couldn't get much anything. He got a decent ton of damage out, but not a kill to his name. The brawl ball was over in a matter of moments. I think that's probably, look, that was crazy quick. That was crazy quick.
The thing was that the damage stats we saw as well is that the Frank has such an absurd amount of health that, like, the damage is completely inflated, right? For the Na'Vi side here, it doesn't mean nearly as much as the damage that was found by Coco Loco, because that damage results in kills. It gets so much more value overall because percentage-wise, it's just much more value. Hideout is where we are going to be heading out next. I think that you can expect a lot of similar brawlers than you would typically see on Goalkeeper's Dream as well. However, it was a very odd draft on Goalkeeper's Dream. Very aggressive, I wouldn't expect to see a Frankie. I wouldn't necessarily expect to see a Buster. Not unheard of, but wouldn't expect it as much. I think a bit more traditional bounty-ish open map, you know. Expect some sharpshooters, expect some throwers potentially. Maybe some wall breaks as well to try to counter those set throwers. For the most part, it's some pretty standard stuff here when it comes to bounty. And there are some like alternatives as well. You can go for the Carl to get the free blue star. And there are some fancy ideas like that can be brought in. But I feel like for the most part, it's a bit more standard than Goalkeeper Stream.
Well, as we jump into the draft, I mean, Max banned out by Na'Vi almost immediately. But, I mean, you look at it for the side of Coco Loco, Angelo, Gene, and the Meg banned out. Berry. Oh, I mean, look, it's just... Oh, I can understand exactly why Suzuki opted to ban that Max out straight away.
Byron first pick here for the Japanese squad. A good one, for sure. Versatile sharpshooter and healer at the same time. The only brawler that really fits that category here. Of course, the ban that we can't see on the left side is a Barry ban. So that's to be considered as well. A lot of sharpshooters out of the equation with Angelo and Mandy both banned out. Still leaves Piper open, Bell still open as well. RT is also a worthy shout. And I think the reason we might have seen this Byron ban is because of the Byron first pick, sorry, is because of the Gene ban from Coco Loco, which has been so far in this region one of the most picked first picks when it comes to bounty.
RT, Byron, for each respective side, Coco Loco. I mean, the crazy thing is they could do it in two here and send Na'Vi down that cursed lower bracket run. I mean, it's crazy to think that Na'Vi attending the LCQ could fail to make the lower bracket run too, depending on who they beat up as a result of that, our next matchup as well. So lots to be concerned about, and they do opt the Carl for Coco Loco, that flying hook to get the early blue star. So they are sort of telegraphing what the game plan is. Now it leaves a lot of onus on the shoulders of Na'Vi as to what they want to do in return.
Now, there are a lot of brawlers where it's like not much in it regarding who will take blue stars, because it's just a matter of like who's a bit tankier, who's a bit faster. Carl is like not in that category. He's just the #1 in the game. Pretty much was like Mortis, but you don't really want to play Mortis at the moment. He's not been meta in ages. So for the most part, Carl is just the go-to at this point. Very, very good at his specific job, and still has some other utility too. He's good against throwers. And I think that's the reason the Gray is being brought in as well, because having the Carl here on Coco Loco may lead to them potentially go for a thrower. It might also be a good way here for the Gray to deal with that card directly, because a pull is going to take him out of super, so that could be very handy in particular situations as well.
Beautiful. The APAC Gray makes an appearance. I was hoping it would. Let's see how effective it was. I mean, if that last map is anything to go by, it's going to be a short stint. We'll have to see. To round it out, I mean, you're probably looking for a little bit more damage output, I think, from Na'Vi, whereas Coco Loco, they've got damage. They've got a decent amount of stain plus that mobility. Not quite sure. I mean, it really is. I mean, do we see damage output? Yeah, okay, Piper and Bell. So we are going to go sort of that sharpshooter route.
Yeah, I find it curious that they opted to go for the Bell over the Piper. I think that personally, I would probably have preferred the Piper. Even though the Bell, in theory, has a slightly better matchup against the RT, I feel like the Piper is just more sharpshootery, more like skill-based, and something that I personally enjoy a little bit more. The wall break as well can be very handy, especially if you have like overall an outrange against a Carl. So that would have been more my way of approaching things here. But hey, those guys are the pro players for a reason. And it may also just be a matter of being, Levy being a little bit more comfortable on the Bell rather than the Piper. So regardless, that's going to be the way it goes for now. And look at that, the Carl over aggressive, gets the blue star, but overstays his welcome in the mid. The pull from the Chappie and follow up shots from Suzuki lock in that opening kill.
Yeah, response. I mean, just a bit too keen on the Carl, unfortunately. So, I mean, it's a lead for now. A single star separating Na'Vi and Coco Loco. And response still taking some big damage through the mid here. Chappie on this Gray. Gonna send out the hook, way off the mark. Unfortunately, it's gonna be Hiroshi who takes that as an onus to walk on up and start pumping out some damage. Look for that control. It does have the super as well to work with. The pickaxe throw from Response. It cleaves such a wide space across the map.
I mean, Response especially is such a phenomenal Carl. It's one of the best Carls in the world, and he's shown that time and time again in international competition. The pull there, though, is brutal, and he takes a lot of damage. Forced to super, or rather gadget, out of that very chaotic position. It's a one-star advantage now, still, for Na'Vi. Can Coco Loco claw their way back into this game?
And there's still 35 seconds to play around. I mean, they got the Byron for a bit of extra sustain, and yeah, look, the Response dive out of danger. For the moment, just want to get that heal back up, couple of supers in play, and wow, X9J just absolutely obliterates Levi. He was evaporated in just a moment, and all of a sudden, Na'Vi now playing off the back foot with 15 seconds left to play with the star down. They're going to have to go on the offensive. We do have the hypercharge coming out as well. Deep cut back from Response, stays alive. The hypercharge is there for X9J to boot. The Shafi has used that super, has the teleport portal. Hiroshi, what an absolute mop-up from Coco Loco.
What a strong game from them, Na'Vi. They did great at locking in that early lead, but Coco Loco, I mean, they know that bounty is a marathon at the end of the day. You know, it's not about who starts the fastest, it's about who crosses the finish line first. And that was a masterclass on there, and very nicely done. And I think punishing Na'Vi as well for going Bell over Piper, because that matchup was much more favorable to the Piper here. So I like that a lot. A bit of a risk here from Response again. Does want to make sure he stays alive. And it seems like it was a nice connection from Jay, even almost a follow-up there. He should be safe for now, although Response still needs to be careful of a pull.
Well, the wall clear to try and open things up, but a Chappie dives deep, only to be traded out by X9J. So the Star League does still lie with Coco Loco. Fortunately, a Chappie, the Grey Super, not working to get him in and out of danger, just into it.
Let's see what Na'Vi can cook here. This time around, they are the one with the star disadvantage by 2, including the blue star. Nice pull, but no follow-up. I think there's only 1 pull left now for a Chappie as well. A TP from Tizu got aggressive. Gets a lot of value, and a pull from a Chappie is absolutely spot on. Nice pickup onto the Piper, and a 1-star advantage now in the hands of Na'Vi.
I mean, we saw them with this in the last round, though. It didn't really count for much as soon as Coco Loco went in the offensive. The super is there for the Carl, the Response, so he can get out of danger if he wants. This set looking like it could potentially just be a little bit dicier than I think Na'Vi were potentially anticipating coming into this tournament. 30 seconds, so Coco Loco have the opportunity to heal up and regroup and look to make a push. 2 supers up to the 3, plus the hypercharge of Levi. Coco Loco are going to have to try and make a bit of a gamble here.
Na'Vi got a lot of util to work with. The homemade recipe from Jay not going to find a connection. 3 supers and the hypercharge now at play for Na'Vi for this final stand. 12 seconds left. Hypercharge brought back. Levy is actually going to be missing the super, but the nest egg is going to be brutal. A chance maybe to go for a play here for Response. Response gets a lot of damage. Response get a kill, but he's going to go down. No, he is not. Coco Loco take the game. What a steal, but this time around, instead of stealing Coco Loco's LCQ spot, it's Coco Loco stealing the upper bracket spot here from Na'Vi.
How many points was it again that Na'Vi stole LCQ by again, Teddy? 1 point. 1 star was all the difference maker there. If that shot had gone through onto Response, we would have been going to a round 3. That would have been Na'Vi's lifeline back into things, and unfortunately, time is not always on your side, Teddy. That was rough to watch if you're a Na'Vi fan. Which, look, I could vouch for that one.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a crazy situation there. But hey, in a way, I'm very happy here for Coco Loco to get that revenge. You could tell, I think, from the way they were playing, how hungry they were for this one as well. It's not over for Na'Vi, though. So, you know, Na'Vi fans still rejoice. They are still going to be in the lower bracket. So far, seeming like they are the best team in the lower bracket as well. So it's still far from over for them. They will be competing all throughout tomorrow in that lower side of the bracket.
Well, Teddy, up next, it is our grand finals from stage 1 playing out all over again. Crazy Raccoons taking on 3R Gaming Neko. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. Make sure you're back for it up after the break. We'll see you then.
Okay. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live.
Coco Loco with, it's quite not an upset, but they do book themselves the spot in the upper bracket semis. Now it's time to see who joins them. Of course, it is Crazy Raccoon and 3R Gaming in this matchup. Look, again, we kind of know who the favoured team is, Teddy, but 3R Gaming have been on the rise.
They have been. On the rise and on the down as well. It's been a very rocky year for 3R. Definitely a promising team. Mameshi used to play with this squad of Crazy Raccoons a few years back, so he knows them in and out. However, they haven't really been able to find the success they were hoping for in 2024. Crazy Raccoon I don't think they need an introduction, Billy. They are the best team in the region, one of the best in the world. Some 2 times world champions as well on that squad. It's a crazy team, just incredibly strong across the board. However, a little bit lucky to be showing up here in the first place, all things considered, you know, because if you look at the qualifier, it wasn't all that good on the East Asian Open qualifier. They did end up losing both their matches, so actually they were not supposed to make it here in the first place. A little bit lucky that they did, but now they're here, so, you know, this is their chance that they rightfully deserve to be here in the first place.
Well, I mean, if you look at Crazy Raccoon as an org, they've already won a world championship this week, so who's to say the Brawl Stars team can't ride that momentum and pick up a big victory? But their opponents, 3R Gaming, like you said, they've had experience play. I mean, to be fair, they play against these guys month in, month out through the qualifiers. Mamashi, Yumagoku and Sakura. 3R Gaming second overall last stage. This 3R Gaming team has steadily been on the increase, and I mean, look, if Na'Vi can fall to Coco Loco, yes, look, let's be honest, it was a 1 point difference separating LCQ going to either of those 2 teams, but 3R Gaming are going to be looking hungry coming into this matchup, and of course, goalkeeper's dream for the Brawl Ball, Hideout, Bounty and Dueling Beetles Hot Zone. I mean, Teddy, what do you reckon the odds are that we do see a map 3 on day 1?
I would love to see it. If you remember the last 2 times those teams face each other, it was in the LPL. I don't think they've faced each other in the monthly finals at all this year, but in the LPL, they faced each other twice. First, the upper bracket finals, where it was 3R that won in a super crazy 3-2 victory against Crazy Raccoon. However, Crazy Raccoon, they pulled off a bit of a storyline in the lower bracket and did manage to get the victory in the grand finals. So they are the season 1 champions. But if you look at, like, you know, their encounters in the last season, it was 1-for-1 and technically even, you know, very, very close games, very close matches. So here, I wouldn't call 3R out, although I feel like CR are in a better shape at the moment.
I mean, that argument is a pretty solid one. Byron Frank, to start things off for 3R Gaming, a B in response for Crazy Raccoons. I mean, again, look, I mean, we've seen a number of changes between stages 1 and 2 of the LPL Brawl Stars Asia Pacific Tour. I'm glad to see that we're starting to see new brawlers coming into stage 2 as well.
So Barry, it was the first pick on the left side. Again, he's not quite in our draft system just yet, so he's a question mark for now, but it's a Barry on Crazy Raccoon paired with the B and the M's. 3R going Melody, Byron and Frank. Good picks across the board here, I think, on both sides. They have some good matchups as well. I think I do prefer the comp here from Crazy Raccoons. It just speaks a bit more to me under the circumstances. But the Frank, you gotta respect it. No matter what, it's still dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of Melody. I mean, I wouldn't say a lot of Melody, but we saw enough of Melody to know that when you get some momentum under the belt and start getting her moving around the map, she can be a real problem. But bringing that Frank, bringing that Byron, so not only have you got a huge amount of frontline HP to work with, you've got that sustain to back it up. That could potentially become a problem for someone like Melody, who doesn't necessarily have the same survivability to back it up. We'll see, though. 3R Gaming looking to jump on, and the Berry and B combo, though, from Crazy Raccoon could be an interesting one.
Right early on, some nice tanks, and both teams, or not both teams, sorry, both sharpshooters on Crazy Raccoon are going to be looking to feed themselves their supers from that Frank. It's just an absolute damage sponge. However, look at that, overwhelmed by the Frank, overwhelmed by the Melody, and this is a goal-scoring opportunity locked in here by 3R Gaming, even trying to get a bit of that super back for the Melody. Nicely done. Very, very strong start here from 3R, and early on, disaster already strikes for CR.
The fact that Sakura survived there is just mind-boggling. If not, he wasn't in a position to just slot that goal home, and in fact, they got the damage out to then clear. Melody diving on deep. Mamashi just slots it home. What a goal from 3R Gaming. That was filthy.
This is why you gotta respect the Melody, man. It's such a threat still in Brawl Ball. It has fallen off a bunch because of some nerfs. However, if you look at it in Brawl Ball, if you look at it in Heist, there's still places where they excel, especially on this map of Goalkeeper Dreams, that has been removed from the competitive map pool since, but it's still an absolute threat here. You got to make sure you ban it out, and maybe a mistake here from CR in the draft.
Well, I mean, look, we've already seen Na'Vi lose out to Coco Loco. Maybe there's just some of that upset meta in the air, and it could potentially go the same way here for 3R Gaming. Crazy Raccoon, but Sakura deep in the back line. That's not the ideal position. He's going to be zoned out well and truly, which means that there is a player advantage going the way of Crazy Raccoons. I say that Sakura comes in, mops up massive damage, has that super kick as well, is going to send it towards the goal. Sakura with a nice two-piece there for himself. They've gotten one to secure that first round of the set. Now they've gotten map point primed and ready here. One more goal, Teddy, and they will take a map advantage.
Nicely done by 3R. This is their chance of taking a set from Crazy Raccoon, and it's looking good too. Sakura gets the pass. Sakura will slot it in, and 3R Gaming to open up the scoreboard here. I mean, so far, every match has pretty much gone as planned. Maybe the other semi-final of the upper bracket was a bit crazy as well, with Coco Loco getting the victory. But here, I think the odds were much, much slimmer for 3R. If you look at the Na'Vi Coco Loco match, I would have said like 50-50, in all honesty. Here, I would have said like 80-20 probably. But it seems like it's the 20 that is paying off here. Huge opening set here for 3R Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for a very interesting run through that bracket, but 3R Gaming force Crazy Raccoons into a position where they're going to have to reverse sweep if they want to stay in the upper bracket. Hideout, bounty coming through. I mean, look, it begs the question. I mean, 3R Gaming haven't unfortunately been able to put up the results in the monthly finals. Obviously, they haven't taken the LCQ spot that's going the way of Na'Vi, of course. But I mean, look, you suppose you're better late than never showing up to the competitive season.
Absolutely. So, I mean, regardless, you know, for those teams that aren't performing as well in the BSC, such as Coco Loco and here 3R, that were a bit disappointing and didn't quite manage to qualify for neither Worlds or LCQ, this is much more important if you think about it, you know, and maybe they take things more seriously. Maybe they're more prepared as well for this specific tournament, because this money is huge money to them. You know, this is money they would have dreamed to make in the BSC, and this is their second chance at going home with something. Let's see though if 3R Gaming can go and double down here against Crazy Raccoons, or if Crazy Raccoons are done messing about and will strike back.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I have a solution to all of APAC's problems. First up, at the to decide who goes, you know, to the international events, we'll just do an APAC LAN, easiest solution, and then from there we can figure out who goes over. None of this online messing around nonsense anymore. Someone's going to make it happen. Don't you worry. But right now we're into the draft for map 2. Kit banned out. A lot of sharpshooter potential banned out. RT for Crazy Raccoon, Byron and Carl for 3R Gaming on the bounty. We've seen plenty of it.
I like it for sure. Carl is a strong shout. Let's see if it will be played out well. Yes. So far, I don't mind what I'm seeing on the draft on both sides. Safe approach to it, but that is the right way to do it. And the Pearl is going to be locked in now by Crazy Raccoon. Again, a brawler that has been kind of falling off the last few months. Is still played here and there on an international level, but surprisingly much, I feel like, so far in APAC. I'm
having flashbacks. I'm expecting something along the lines of a bell, some long-range threat for Crazy Raccoons to round out this draft. You're going to have pressure on both sides, and then someone just punching away. And Tensai, we know that he can play the bell. Larry Laurie to round things out for 3R Gaming, to throw it in the mix there. He's definitely going to prove rather interesting what Crazy Raccoons go with. I mean, they're kind of signaling that it is going to be that long-range poke, that long-range threat.
Only one way to actually find out. It could have been a berry pick as well, actually, from Tempo.
Yeah, that is.
That seems to be the case indeed. Yeah, it seems like it is a berry, of course, instead of the double pearl, which is a scary brawler, that's for sure. Very meta relevant at the moment. 3R Gaming's comp is not bad though, so I would be careful here if I were Crazy Raccoon. I do like this comp here from 3R. Let's find out how it pays off as we head into our second set hideout here. As a reminder, again, it is best of 3. So 3R Gaming, this is their massive opportunity to make it to the finals of the upper bracket.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, 3R Gaming looking to try and isolate. You got Shizampo playing deep on the Pearl. Trying to isolate, trying to set up that poke to maybe allow Crazy Raccoons to sprint on in and mop up that last little bit of chip to finish off a kill and get that star advantage back. But for now, I mean, staying relatively healthy. That's the power, the boost, the boon of having a Byron to be able to regen up that HP super up at available moment. She has to walk right back. We'll get the heal over from the Byron, and all of a sudden 3R Gaming find themselves backed up against the wall. They've got a couple of supers to work with, but it's full supers across the board. The Crazy Raccoon and Shizampo will claim first blood. Sakura down, star advantage now over the Crazy Raccoons.
Star advantage means the Crazy Raccoon can start playing more defensively, but the more ground they occupy, the more space they have to fall back if things get too heated up. But so far, it doesn't even seem like they're worried. The heals from the Barry are so annoying to deal with here for 3R Gaming. And so far, it doesn't really seem like they have an answer. Let's see if in the last 35 seconds they can manage to find a pinch or somehow herd them back into their spawn and try to lock them up there. But right now, 3R Gaming, they're on the back foot.
I mean, you got to feel that Goku, there was an attempt. He tried to get the flying hook in and go for the super, but he was just a little bit short. Crazy Raccoon backed off and didn't give him the range that he wanted. Sakura has the super up and available with 13 seconds. Crazy Raccoon are going to go now and try and play deep into the 3R Gaming side of the map. Goku, the only one there, doesn't have a super to work with. 5 seconds, yeah. This is just going to be Crazy Raccoon walking on home. There's not enough time to get anything done, and Crazy Raccoons will take the first round of the set. Playing that one brilliantly, honestly. They read into 3R Gaming's attempts at every step.
Perfectly executed here from Crazy Raccoon. They got the early advantage, then played it super defensively as they could. I mean, it wasn't even defensively. They were just avoiding the fights. They were just running around the map, getting the Carl low HP enough that he had to kind of pull back and create space for Crazy Raccoon to just kind of escape. That was very nicely done. Very, very strong game from Crazy Raccoon. Blue Star is going to be locked in again by 3R. They have the Carl, so they get free Blue Star. However, earlier, it didn't take long for Crazy Raccoon to strike back and find an opening kill.
I mean, the Barry AoE is just so punishing. I mean, you can see why teams are bringing it, having that sustainability as well. As a thrower, he's been a right nuisance. And Goku does have the super up once again. Gonna have to try and use that flying hook to set up for something. 10-site cops a pickaxe. We'll have to back off for the moment, but he's a thrower. He's quite happy to sit behind that wall. Deep cut from 10-site. They're going to try and zone out 3R Gaming, and they find themselves in a very similar situation. The hook comes out to super, but he's bumped off. Shizampo will find the opener and claim that blue star back. Moya follows it up. And now it is Crazy Raccoons in position to take this map one, but there's 54 seconds that they have to play with, so there is a real opportunity that 3R Gaming could bring this one back.
What a clean two-piece there from Crazy Raccoon. Brilliantly executed. 3R Gaming now. They don't want to give that set advantage away. Going to a third and final would really start favoring Crazy Raccoons again. In the final 30 seconds here, 3R need to go for a push, and they will need either a kill on Shizampo or a double kill. That's the only way out here. And if there's trades, it's going to be even more complicated to predict. But Sakura does have super. That's pretty much all they got to work with Yuta-wise. Besides a flying hook, and now a super available on the Carl as well. But it's not really wise to go for the super onto the Pearl. Final countdown coming through, but Shizampo now has unlocked the hyper charge. Can Yume go for a play? Shizampo doesn't fall for the bait. A second left. No one is even low HP. No one has even lost health. That's how much sustain that the Barry brings to the table. What can you do against it? I don't know, and it seems like 3R don't either.
First game 3 on the cards, Teddy. Who would have thought this set, going the way that it has? Crazy Raccoon, look, they may be a little bit overwhelmed after that first set. And look, you got to commend 3R Gaming for playing the way they did on the Brawl Ball, and maybe unsettling Crazy Raccoon. But, I mean, you look at it, it's a bounty with 3 kills across the board. Just goes to speak how much Crazy Raccoon just controlled that map and controlled the zoning.
It was a very, very strong performance from Crazy Raccoon. 3R, I think it's admirable that they managed to take this opening set and then the way they helped. But Raccoon, they just gave him a hard pull in this second set. Absolutely nothing to work with. No kills, no possibilities at all for 3R to even try to maintain kind of the flame that they lit up in that opening set. Very well done, and what a way to just shut down any momentum. We are hope that opening set. Now it's gonna be down to Dueling Beetles for a third and a final. And now I can't help but favor Crazy Raccoon again, because they're coming in here with momentum, and in an even setting, it would already be very favorable to them right now. I feel like 3R, they may have missed out on their opportunity to go through to the upper bracket finals by just leaving that very open this long in that draft.
I mean, it was such a problem. It really was. It just, you thought you were safe, and then all of a sudden, Barry's just throwing cones at you, and you're in a right spot of trouble. But yeah, going to the Dueling Beetles for the hot zone, and we've seen how teams in this competition are sort of approaching that. And I mean, we saw it out of Crazy Raccoon. In fact, they brought the Pearl, they brought the Byron and the Bell just sitting in the mid, holding things down. It was a pretty scary combo. 3R Gaming will have first pick coming into the Dueling Beetles in the hot zone. I mean, you've got to hope that they were watching that matchup and they're going to start to ban things away, but okay, so it is some of that wall break coming out. The throwers, Byron being banned out could be an interesting one to try and manage around, and I would imagine that is likely that Barry top left.
It would seem like it.
First picks coming through, Gale, Chester. I mean, we've seen a bit of the Gale today already. It has worked reasonably well. It has been a bit of a problem for teams to deal with, but I mean, that Chester being so popular as it is at the moment, obviously it's enough that teams reckon that it has a spot here. I mean, look, both teams looking to start this draft solid, Teddy.
I like what I'm seeing so far. I think Gil is a fantastic first pick on this map. It's just very defensive, but it still does a lot of damage, has a lot of value, a lot of utility as well to create space, hold on to space. The launch pad can also help you get into mid more easily and try to prevent spawn traps, or you can go for the tornado route as well, which can help spawn trap your opponents. So I like that. I think personally the launch pad makes a bit more sense, but for the most part, I like that first pick a lot. I think that the Chester is a bit weirder. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think the Chester is a new gray of APAC. It's not a bad brawler. It's playable in other regions here and there, but in other regions, it tends to be a more situational pickup for your draft rather than just like an early pick that just kind of somehow makes it into those drafts. It seems like all the rest of the draft is coming in thick and fast. So we got a Crow, we got an 8-bit for Crazy Raccoon, and then a Frank and a Draco for 3R. Nothing too crazy. I'm saying that, but kind of crazy. I mean, 8-bit's kind of crazy. Crow kind of crazy. Draco, not something we've seen too much recently. The only brawler that isn't crazier is the Frank, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm curious to see how the Draco plays. Been playing a bit of it myself, and he's decent on the front line, but already right into it. 3R Gaming looking to get some zone control. Mamashi working their way up. Sakura just playing behind those walls. The Crow zoned out. Wow, first blood picked up. It's answered back in kind. Tensai blows up the wall, cleans it up. Mamashi on the hunt, looking to try and make some magic happen, but Shinitampo dives deep. It's a 1-for-1 ultimately between the two teams. But the fact that 3R Gaming have maintained so much momentum. Super comes out from Sakura. The dinosaur, not long, or dragon rather, I suppose it is. Not long for the world. Mamashi gets back in, looking to soak up that damage, and he's soaking up a lot of it. He's just cleaned up. Tensai playing a stunning game, only to be cleaned up by you, mate. And all of a sudden, I mean, 3R Gaming looking to find some life again. The jump on in, the height and charge from Shinitampo, only to be mopped up by the Frank. I mean, this Frank you've been talking about, it's doing some work right now.
Is doing absolutely fantastic. What a draft here from 3R. They had the Gale, which, you know, locks in the defensive measures and also just takes it away from Crazy Raccoon. They would have loved the Gale against the Draco, against the Frank. It is such an overwhelming amount of health and damage that 3R bring in with this comp. Now, they're struggling a bit more now, but even then, it's not going to be nearly enough for Crazy Raccoon to stop them. First match point here is going the way of 3R Gaming with this crazy draft. Billy, we didn't really have time to analyze it because all the picks came in at once, but it's looking like 3R may have cooked with this draft.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you look at the draft, you're like, yeah, cool, they've got this game plan, and then 3R Gaming just ends up throwing bodies constantly at the zone, and it worked. Let's be honest, it worked. They got themselves the first round in this set, and now they're looking for yet another one. Just the fact that they were able to... The fact you got so hefty frontliners in the form of Sakura on that Draco and Mamashi on the Frank. You hold that choke point, you look to control it, the Frank is just going to work. Moya survives with 80 HP, it doesn't matter. Yume's there in the back line. I mean, the two beefy frontliners paired with this Gale is working an absolute dream.
It is a fantastic comp from 3R here. Crazy Raccoon is absolutely outcomped. No answer on their side just yet. And I think many weird things in that draft too. I mean, the Crow 8-bit is just not really something that makes the most sense. Yes, Score is a hypercharge. It's a good hypercharge too, especially in highs. It does find some good value there. I mean, he picks up a kill, nearly a double actually. Gets Mameshi low as well. But there's just so much health, and overall, besides the hypercharge, the damage from the Crow is just a little bit lackluster. The 8-bit doesn't have the mobility when you're getting constantly overrun and pushed out of position by the Frank, by the Draco. It's 5% left. 3R Gaming, I think Yume will lock it in now as he steps in the zone for a final time, and the underdog story comes through here. 3R Gaming go through to the upper bracket finals, and they're knocking Crazy Raccoon down to the lower bracket.
I mean, the most absolutely absurd part of this, I think, Teddy, is that after the first round tomorrow in the lower bracket, either Na'Vi or Crazy Raccoon are going home. There is no two ways about it. I mean, that's wild. Crazy Raccoon, the favourites in that matchup by a much more significant margin than I think you would have argued in that matchup between Na'Vi and Coco Loco. But look, Teddy, I wouldn't have called that going into the start of the day.
Two crazy stories in our upper bracket here. We had a lot of sweeps, but then suddenly, I mean, Coco Loco was a fantastic performance to lock in their upper bracket finals spot. And then now, Crazy Raccoon dropping down to lower to 3R. That, again, as a reminder, Crazy Raccoon is the #1 seed in the region. They have some world champions, some 2 times world champions players on their roster. 3R, they're the #8 seed right now in the Brawl Stars Championship for the APAC region. They failed to qualify for LCQ, and yet they take an incredible victory here against Crazy Raccoon. Again, best of 3 here, favoring the underdogs, it seems, especially in those upper bracket semifinals.
Well, looking at what we've got to go, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I mean, starting off tomorrow with the Crazy Raccoons Max Aura game, and then following it up with Delay Esports and Na'Vi. I never would have thought I saw it. I mean, to be fair, I never thought I'd get the chance to commentate a Na'Vi team, regardless of the esport. Coming into a competition like this, it's been an absolute privilege, but I never thought they would have been in the lower bracket either, to be honest, Teddy. But it does make for a spicier run through that lower bracket, and it does mean that we get some extra epic gameplay through that lower bracket.
It's gonna be amazing, man. I can't wait for tomorrow's matches. I don't think we can count Crazy Raccoon out ever. We saw it last time as well, that they went through the lower bracket to end up winning it all. So potentially a bit of a repeat of that storyline. Either way, I'm super happy for Coco Loco. I love that revenge story they got on their hands as well. The redemption are coming their way. Same for 3R, you know, that had a great start of the year. Looked like they were one of the most promising teams in the region, and they completely fell flat for the rest of it. Right now, they have a chance at redemption as well. So we have so many different stories unfolding throughout tomorrow, and I think it's going to be a thrilling day of Brawl Stars Esports.
Now that is day 1 done and dusted, but before we let you go, remember, you too can be competing in Brawl Stars Esports if you want. August, 8 competitions going on. It's the 1v1 and the 3v3 format, so 4 of each. You can play in both if you really want to, but you might have to find some mates if you want to play in the 3v3. You can win some LPL points and LPL tokens. Make sure you check out the QR code on your screen. But Teddy, day 1 is dusted. It is a battle of the Titans in the lower bracket to see who makes it through, but you're going to have to wait until then. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Same time, same place, for more APAC Brawl Stars Tour action. See you then.
Yeah. Okay.